thank you all so much for hanging in there and for joining us on this wonderful Thursday evening for some more D&D right here on Lionhead Gaming. And since it is Thursday, that means it is time for some more Song of Rapture, as DM'd by the wonderful Monsieur Omen. Monsieur Omen, are you ready? All right.
They had found themselves at the apex of a great and wondrous moment in their both their personal lives and as a life as a group. They'd finally reached essentially a grand title recognized all across the entirety of Hearth, something that most adventurers like them would do anything to achieve, only to be met with some troubling and very upsetting news. But what exactly transpired last session is not my story to tell. So would someone like to regale us on what happened and get a little DM inspiration before some important decision making must be made on this episode of Song of Rapture? There we are. Ooh. Going once. Going twice.
Okay, now I can't remember.
Previously on Song of Rapture.
I gave the one traditional sip, and now I just can't actually start it.
Previously on Song of Rapture, after a wonderful parade started by and hosted by Tamar Khan, where the Valiant Vanguard was regaled down the streets of Oakwell, a stage has been set up in front of the Guild Hall, where a sort of presentation was about to begin, set up by Samantha. A sort of, what would you call it? Illusionary theatrical performance featuring three of some of our biggest adventures as a party to celebrate the uprising of the Valiant Vanguard as an adventuring party in Mobia, and being able to show everyone there who came for the festival exactly how our fight with the dragon had gone. The crowd seemed to be pretty surprised at this magic technology, where it was almost like they were there, starting with our adventures in Stroma, an undead island where creatures of undeath were spreading across the world of Hearth, and was concerning several locals that we had handled almost at the beginning of what was the ongoing growth of the Vanguard as a party. Shortly afterwards, Samantha faced the entire crowd. She had a very important reveal to show them. See, Samantha had been walking among Oakwell and among Hearth itself with the face of a human, per se. But today, she bared her full face in front of Oakwell, in front of people there to see the Valiant Vanguard, revealing that she was, in fact, a Yuan-Ti. It was immediately met with somewhat confused reactions, people not entirely sure how to handle this news that Samantha Deus, the leader of the Valiant Vanguard, was a Yuan-Ti, a creature that is regarded as a monster in this part of the world. But she revealed her face, and her friends immediately took to the stage to stand by her side. But not much transpired. Instead, the nobility urged them to continue showing what other presentations they had to offer.
There was a very excited Dragonborn in the audience that was clapping for Samantha, though.
Yeah. Woo!
Supported by our friends that were distributed among the crowd, and hopefully softened the blow just a little bit.
Paid actors.
The other two presentations, one of which was the slaying of the dragon, got wonderful attention, and the other one was our arena combat that was done back in Roka, where we were not only dragon slayers at the end of the year, but we also became champions for the next year coming at that festival. After all was said and done, the crowd started to disperse, and we had about an hour before our coronation to become dragon slayers. We dispersed around Oakwell. The guild hall was going to have guards put around it due to a concern about some people with not so great intentions. Hell's Hydras, led by Mordred Kane, had met with Samantha earlier that day, and the two did not seem to see eye to eye. Mordecane was not very fond of the concept of an adventuring guild hall being built in Oakwell, where adventuring was part of business in the town. And basically, freelance adventurers were able to make their funds and make their name on their own, rather than under the name of somebody else, such as the guild hall would cause. So being a little bit concerned about what it is they intended to do and not wanting to take any chances, Mayor Autumnwood and Bea had put a couple of guards around the guild hall in order to keep an eye on it. And Samantha quickly retreated there to rest for the day after a very exhausting day of doing not only business, but also entertainment. The rest of the Valiant Vanguard started to disperse for the hour. Quildor walking with Lady Blackburn from Broken Ridge and discussing what it is she liked about this charming town and getting to understand a little bit about this noble who has supported the Vanguard since it was just a small, tiny party and were no more than the heroes of Oakwell. Persephone and Swift Hollow went to the garden at the Heartwood Sanctum, where Perse showed her the plant Liscus, something that Persephone herself was very proud of in its role in stopping the Grey Bite from spreading and their adventure in Stroma. And Tamar Khan hung out with Madame Revelry, a noble from Broken Ridge, or a noble from Skyreach, rather, who wants to tell the tales of the Valiant Vanguard and has been following us for quite some time. But regardless of what it was that we were doing around town, the hour came to a close and our coronation was to begin. In front of the eyes of Oakwell and nobility of Mobia, the Valiant Vanguard was officially titled as Dragon Slayers, proof having been shared that we did in fact slay Obsidius, a dragon, residing within Mount Cot. Everybody had something to say about their newfound titles, some declaring their joy for being a part of a prestigious adventuring group, some of them happy for this new chance that they've been given, and some offering the help that they can give to the people of Oakwell. And after the crowd started to disperse there, everybody in the Valiant Vanguard met up with friends and caught up and spoke with them to have somewhat minor celebratory hugs and handshakes among themselves. And that's when a kobold came scurrying into the plaza. Bea quickly grabbed onto the creature and brought it to Samantha's attention, a crumpled note in his hand covered in dirt. As Samantha read it, it became very clear that as fun as the festivities are, Valiant Vanguard had a target on its back, and it seems so did our friends. Hell's Hydra, during these festivities, had sieged our guild hall. They've taken our friends hostage, and we have until midnight to present ourselves unarmed and empty-handed, and without any help. Any deviation from these instructions would risk killing any of the hostages within the guild hall, including our patron Jody, who seemed to have written the note and signed herself. With 4 hours to spare, the Valiant Vanguard must figure out how it is they are going to solve this encounter. Are they going to submit unarmored, unarmed? Or are they going to go in with a fight, believing it is that they could win? Find out tonight as we write another verse in Song of Rapture.
Very well done, Mel. Give yourself some DM inspiration.
I already have it.
Oh, then you have to roll yourself a D100. I was going to see what happened. Oh, shit. One moment. Let me add that number to the list real quick.
Alright, and you get a boon that allows you to put any number of people to sleep instantly.
That would be amazing, actually.
Congratulations, great
Dreamwalker
boon.
gets to put people to Dreamland.
Yep.
Nice. Cool, alright, getting closer. As indeed, we rejoin the Valiant Vanguard at the stroke of about 8 o'clock at night. You find yourselves in the now darkening horizon of the evening in Oakwell with a new task on your hands. You stand outside the mayor's estate, which is now since cleared of all the rabble-rousers and even some of the nobility who had come to witness your coronation. Instead, you find yourself standing with one of Samantha's now dirtied kobolds. I think the name was a Thrinibal. This tiny little creature doesn't really speak too much except for maybe sort of draconic grunt, as well as Beowulf and Logan Autumnwood, joined by Lord Arthur, who had just sort of caught on to what's going on, and Sir Knight Balder, who offered his aid in whatever way he could in this tense situation. As right now, Beowulf and Logan are currently discussing the matter at hand. It seems Bea is quite keen on going out and gathering a number of armed men to sort of make a safe, distanced encirclement of the guild hall in case things become violent and blades are drawn and struck. You can probably try to bring some men in to help mitigate the damage without causing any more harm. What are you guys up to?
We should go back to the Fallen Horse and discuss a plan.
I mean,
I think you need to change the clothes. Unfortunately, my armor is actually in the guild hall.
I do love a good scheming. Is there anything I should bring to the Fallen Horse? Well, I guess I have all my things. We're going to need an elephant.
I don't think we're going to need an elephant.
I mean, we
Alright.
might need two.
The offer stands, though.
Bea, would it be possible to close the gates for Oakwell without it being too much of a commotion?
That was the first thing on my mind. Not letting these gates stay open and letting any more of these goddamn attackers slip past these walls.
So back to the Fallen Horse?
Back to the Fallen Horse.
Versus walking, she's scanning over the letter over and over again, just trying to keep pace with her friends.
Yes, we will stay at the estate. Keep the nobility calm, if only to be moderately aware that there might be some rabble-rousing in the town. If there's anything you need, we'll be here, but please do hurry.
Of course.
As Bea will go off to make her rounds, dashing off into the dark, now darkening city streets as the valiant vanguard makes their way down south. There's still somewhat the busy town of Oakwell. There are still some people going out enjoying festivities. There are lights adorning the streets with torches and lanterns. Seems like the festivities are still going on for some of the common folk, but now sort of carrying around this mantle of tension as you guys proceed. As you guys would find yourselves at the Fallen Horse. Yes, we are. As you guys will now come to what seems to be... The doors would be closed for the night, as it seems like Jody had gone out to basically deal with whatever she was doing. Seems like she was busy moving supplies, and the inn, at least for the evening, had been closed. But you guys, I'm assuming one of you probably has access to just open the door with a key.
Press the door down.
Kick the door down, destroy it.
Exacting.
I'm gonna cast Fireball.
Okay, well maybe not that.
As you guys find yourselves in a somewhat dimly lit, empty, Jody-less Fallen Horse.
So are we going to go with Logan's plan to do the peacefully, or are we just going to kill everybody?
If we go with our armor, our weapons, and our magic, they will kill Jody, the kobolds, and any of the guards that they have with them. It's too risky.
Mm.
I can get eyes on the inside, so I think a floating small creature filled with armor is quite noticeable.
Is there a way to make it invisible?
I unfortunately don't have that magic.
But I do.
I do.
Good.
Alright, well, we're not going to be able to do much without knowing what's going on the inside, so I guess if we... Let me change first, but if we go down there real quick, there's buildings behind our guild hall. We could probably just ask someone to just kind of come in, hang out for a little bit, and then I can just send my hound inside invisible, just to get a way out.
Because it can go through walls, correct?
Yes.
That's an interesting trick you've learned at the temple.
Oh, wow, I didn't know you could do that.
So your big armored man can go through walls now.
Or he's kind of shrunk by a lot. As in the middle of the table, just this tiny little suit of armor just kind of slowly floats through the table. Just it's not like animated. It's like kind of limp. Its head is just kind of to the side as it just kind of floats around.
Like a doll.
Yeah, like a doll.
Isn't that adorable?
It is rather little. Does it still pack a mighty punch?
If I allow it to, it can. Probably not as much as the bigger version.
It would make sense. It is smaller, so it should deal smaller amounts of fury. Oh, good. We'll get eyes inside. We will see the lay of the land. But then what?
So
Well,
look
we
over at Samantha.
Well, what would they want? They want us to go there, but why?
Most likely they were the biggest fish in the pond, and now a crocodile has slipped his way in.
Why are you discussing little change?
What do we know about his Hayes Hydra? They it is said. Best thing before going to a fight is knowing one's enemy. I don't even know who they are, really.
They're supposed to just be a group of sellswords, overwhelming challenges through sheer number. Though their leader expressed a bit of distaste for our efforts. I headed down to the Silver Skink, I believe, to check on how business was doing there, and they were all collected there. Not at all too pleased to see me. I am convinced, after looking at that note, that they intend for the Valiant Vanguard to end at this point. You all able to do what it is you wish, should you properly surrender. But there's an interesting omission, a reduction in our number that does not make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, I noticed that. Persephone lays out the note on the table and points to the line that says the 5 of us. I just thought, I don't know, if they had Jody, maybe they assumed one of us wasn't a part of the Valiant Vanguard. I mean, Swift Hollow, you're technically a part of the Blackburn Initiative. You work under Lady Blackburn. It could very easily be perceived that your position with us is temporary. That's what I thought. You're saying it's something else?
That would be logical. Also, Tamargon was absent for most of the month. As far as their intel is concerned, it might be Tamargon too.
But you were all on stage when it came time to give cheers to the Valiant Vanguard.
Exactly.
But they were not anywhere near the stage. They were more than likely already in the guild hall.
How would you know?
Are you sure?
Hundreds of faces out in the audience. Any one of them could have been paid to report back to them, or just been outside of their armor. If they even
I
wear
did
armor
also
at all.
literally sing our praises.
Exactly.
Everyone in town has seen our faces and can affiliate us with the Valiant Vanguard. We are more well known than we ever have been. No one is escaping the eyes of the Hydra, it seems.
Shall we test the theory with a Swift Hollow?
I
She
don't
goes there before the meeting time alone. Request to speak. Just to speak. Say that she may not want to be involved in all of these. See what they want. If they turn her away, then, well, they turn her away. Or
But
maybe
what-
they want something.
If they turn her away, what if they're assuming it's a trick or we're not heeding their instructions? They were very clear.
They were clear that they wanted 5 of us.
Reading it thoroughly, they would allow 5 of us to surrender, to live. But assuming the 6 of us are to attend, one of us will not, and I cannot help but assume that to be myself.
I mean, it makes sense.
That's quite selfish. To assume that you were to be dead.
I mean, it is a bit of an old saying, and probably not the most appropriate, but they often say you have to cut off the head of the beast.
True enough.
Does not help that I am a Yonti either.
I hate to assume this, but they're really underestimating our numbers. Would not Javen, Clyde, and Gregory aid us?
Certainly, I'm sure if we asked they would, though then we risk the chance of things being less than ideal for their hostages.
And what if that's not their intention? I don't feel comfortable about trying to outsmart their wording in this note. Not unless we're totally sure what they mean. I don't want to do any elven analytics on this stupid thing and try to act clever about it. It's too risky to do things like that.
If we can scout ahead, we can try to find Jody and ask her what she meant. She was the one that wrote it.
That is true.
All I know is
that when you have a question, you ask. If they ask for 5, we do not know what 5 they want. If we show up with 6, maybe too many.
Okay.
All we can do is ask.
So we send in Luna's hound small armor thing, and that would give us at least a look around of what's going on. And can you hear through it? If there's conversation, can you know what they're saying?
Yeah, I can do that. She just continues to scribble on the table.
I mean,
Okay.
I would be correct in assuming, Luna, you have probably named this thing, am I correct?
Not really.
You haven't named your little creature.
I never really thought about it.
Do we call it doll or little knight or whatever? Persevna Samantha, you said you could both turn someone invisible, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. I did that with Swift Hollow when we were taking care of the gilded coffers as we were traveling.
I can do it for a long time, though tenuous, and a shorter time, but much more resilient to your more violent displays.
Well, while Luna is checking out where the hostages is, as I said, what's to know your enemy? I could take a look, see what we are exactly up against. I have an eye for such things. If you can disguise my form for a bit, I can see exactly what we are challenged with. If they are truly a threat or not. They help us in our judgment aid.
I would not be surprised if their most threatening members were inside of the hole itself. It might be too much of a risk, and that's where I would put them.
I've snuck into very many places. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, didn't you take one of those orbs from Cradle Keep?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Luna just gives it to Marcon, just kind of a look. Rolls her eyes and goes back to scribbling.
What it is I believe we should do is be prepared for them to want all 6 of us, no more, no less. And I believe they intend for me to die, whether it is because I am the leader, or because of who I am, as her snakes sort of just look around the table. But I have no fucking intention of dying tonight. So, we're going to do what they asked, up to a point. We're going to come, appearing unarmed, our weapons stowed away where we can get to them if need be. I have seen you do a little fanciful trick with yours, if I'm not mistaken, to Marcon, though I'm worried about you going deaf. And we'll have scouted out the Guildhall thanks to Luna's pet or doll. After that, Persephone, you're to make Swift Hollow invisible, and I think I will do my best to try to replicate her with a bit of illusion magic, similar to what I was using for the performances today. What I want to do is try to appear like we're obeying every single one of their little orders, while Swift Hollow does her best to try to extract the hostages and get them away from their captors and get them to safety. Unfortunately, I don't know of a good path from the Guildhall out of it, beyond its walls. There is a grate towards the back end in the wall allowing water to flow through, but it is metal. I considered maybe asking you to call on some of your animal friends, Persephone. But it seems like you're a bit lost in focus at the moment.
Oh no! You're lost Persephone.
There we go. Mel, you back?
I'm on my phone right now. Sorry, my internet cut out and it won't come back, and that's weird.
Okay.
I was saying I was considering asking you to call on some of your
She died
animal
again.
friends to help. Oh no, she died again. Excellent.
How long do we have exactly? I said midnight, yes?
Yes.
And it is.
It's like 8:30.
I think it's about 8 o'clock.
Seems like it's about 8 o'clock.
4 hours then.
Plenty of time.
There must be a way that we can bend those bars and get people through.
I have a bit of trick for Quiddo if he, wants to make an exit. It may not leave your newly created guild hall in one piece, though.
We can always rebuild it.
The walls
And I
can
think
be
this
rebuilt.
time we build a secret entrance.
I have something planned for that, as she sort of reaches over for Thrin the ball and just like puts her hand on his head.
Yeah.
You seem to like digging, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. And he just kind of motions his hands in the air, as in Draconic, he just says, like, dig a hole! Crawl out!
Maybe you can be useful as well. Maybe you can dig a hole. How'd you get out of the guild hall in the first place? Did you dig a hole?
Yes,
underneath the
where's your
walls?
hole?
Door open! Right out! Dig a hole! Garden!
There are several
saying
gardens
you'll-
in the guild hall.
Oh, he said garden, not guarded.
Garden! Plants! Carrot!
Quiddo, take this. As I'm going to toss you over the strange little orange. Looks like a plant of some sort itself, like a melon or a gourd.
What is this?
Something I had friends over at Cradle Cape put together for me. The potions we've used before, the things that increase your size. Quite handy, I thought. Maybe create something a little bit more permanent. Take a measured sip, and you'll grow for about a minute. Splash yourself quite hardly with it, and it will be quicker. Won't only last the same distance. Take a hearty drink, and it will last an hour. If you find yourself needing to create an exit out of a wall.
But would I not need to be with the others in the front?
I mean, when we are into the nitty gritty. If that does happen. If we need to find a way past or through, well, find a way for my allies. I would take it myself, but your strength is much greater than mine. Even if we are larger of size.
Could we not give it to Timberson? He could be at the back and open a way.
We're bringing others. The former members.
I don't know if that's such a good idea. We're trying to look for. We're trying to make another exit. I'm sorry. I zoned out for a moment there.
Hey, last ditch resort, I suppose. If we cannot find an exit for our allies, then any wall can do if you have the strength to make it.
Well,
but that would be loud. What I am thinking...
Well, instead of a wall to go through, what if we... And she looks at the kobold. What if we go under?
Yes. I've thrown the ball wide in that hole. That way, if Swift Hollow needs to send hostages, they can get there hopefully quietly and get through the hole and go underneath, rather than the wall being rent apart.
So you're saying give the gourd to this thing to get larger to dig a bigger hole?
Yeah, I suppose so. Probably could just dig a bigger hole. Can you just dig a bigger hole? He just asks in Draconic.
Yeah, dig. I'm good at digging.
Yeah, you may not need to give him the gold. Hold on to it yourself. I'll just give him instruction to dig a hole large enough for you to get through, Quildor. That should be more than enough room.
Alright.
After about 10 minutes of people talking, Una finished scrawling several magic circles in front of each member of the party, all leading to a much bigger magic circle into the middle of the table as she puts her hand on hers and says, "This is the same magic, but it doesn't require you to drink any sort of disgusting potion, so we can communicate while I and I guess either Persephone or Samantha go to scout."
Wonderful. I'll let you know what I find as well.
As everyone puts their hands on the circles and they all light up as I will telepathic bond us.
Ooh. Can someone run the plan
Post
by
that
me
spell
real
card.
quick?
Hello?
Swift Hollow and the little ghost person is gonna go in and scout. Kobold's gonna dig a bigger hole. Swift Hollow's gonna try to get the hostages out without people noticing, possibly. Depends on what they see on the inside. Worst case scenario, Jordan rolls a new character.
Eater to gain her powers.
As hands go in the middle of these small chalk circles drawn with very carefully articulated arcana, this pulse of magic runs through everyone. I'm assuming everyone at this table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Even a tiny little kobold hand right on top of the circle. As
Sure.
as a connection is made between all of you.
Oh,
It's always so interesting.
beats drinking that concoction.
Yeah, I like this way better.
Alright, so should we get to scouting then? See what we can find.
Yes, I only have an hour on this.
Okay, how close do we need to be for this to work? That's Persephone like taps the side of her temple.
Don't know.
It works basically anywhere. I mean, as long as you don't go plane hopping.
So no jumping into wells from what I hear.
Oh, we're starting now.
Yes, you should go and scout. Do you want me to round up Javen, Clyde, and Gregory?
Give me 15 minutes to prepare. I wasn't aware that we're starting so soon.
It would have been helpful to mention what it is you needed then. I am uncertain where to use them best if we were to round them up. But if they are willing, they could make for a great addition to the guards that Bea is stationing around the perimeter. Someone who is experienced at dealing with a greater threat than a simple goblin.
Indeed. Would not Clyde do well on a rooftop? I see he loves to climb.
I didn't realize you were spending so much time with him, but yes, he is quite height inclined.
He helped quite a bit with the wood carving within the guild hall.
You know, it's not really that hard to get to know Clyde, so I buy that. All you have to do is spend an afternoon with him.
He talks almost as much as Persephone.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem.
Do you have all your stuff that you need here in Switala?
Of course. I'm gonna leave home. As she pulls out a sort of brown burlap sausage roll from one of the pockets as she rolls it out, and it's filled with thieves' tools, but also some more intricate and different kinds. As in addition, she pulls out strange materials, strange alchemical materials, you know, probably like wool, maybe twine, some cloth. As she pulls out several tools from this brown burlap sort of holding bag and gets to work.
All right. Seems like Sotal's going to be spending about 15 minutes making something on the spot with some of her tools. Is there anything else you want to do in the meantime for that 15 minutes? Anything extra prep before you guys move out? Otherwise, we can move right along.
I suppose
So-
I'm waiting for Sutalo to be ready.
So Persephone's just casting invisibility. I'm still piecing things together. I'm sorry, I've been running around in the background.
Either you or Samantha. I think Samantha's already going. So you don't also have to do it. Samantha can target like 3 people with her 5th level invisibility.
Okay.
Or 6. Not 5th.
Maybe 5th.
No, they auto scale to 6, that's fine.
4 targets you can turn invisible.
Yeah, you get to level 5 and then you start getting special spell slots.
Mm-hmm.
I
No spell
can't
slots.
put the invisibility on Swift Hollow, though, because if I do, I won't be able to make the illusion of her.
They're
It's one or the
scouting
other.
while we're approaching them.
Yeah, we have 4
They're not
hours.
going-
Yeah, we're scouting. We'll probably take a short rest, like get your spell slots back, and then we're gonna do stuff again.
Okay, so we're going to get information first, and then we're going to approach them.
Yes.
And we need a Swift Hollow body double.
I'm just going to use an illusion for that. No point in risking someone else's life.
That's fair. What if this somebody else could be, disappeared, so their life isn't in danger? Like one of my Fae friends.
We're going to dress up a giant owl.
No, Tamarcon, we're not gonna dress up a giant owl.
That'll be spectacular, but very well, right?
They don't have any fingers, Tamarcon.
But
mean, if you have something up your sleeve, Persephone, that would be better.
Well,
I'm sure they'll
dryads
probably check
are-
us.
Well, they're going to check us and an illusion wouldn't work. But dryads are about our size. I'm sure I can conjure one about Swift Hollow's height. It's only a matter of costuming her.
I and Sweetolo and I are both experts of disguise.
I'm pretty good with the disguise skills myself, but I wouldn't
Really?
call myself an expert.
Well, that's perfect.
There
If
you are.
everyone pitches in, that might work. That way we don't have to worry about illusion magic. And we have somebody there. She doesn't even need to talk, she just needs to stand there, right?
Swift Hollow doesn't
Isn't my
speak a whole lot
telepathic
anyway.
bond? It works to my advantage. Is she cutting twine?
Shall we scout? Come back. How long does your lady friend last? Is she here all night?
An hour.
Ah.
And I have to focus on the magic, so hopefully nothing disturbs that.
So we
Then
go
it
scout
sounds
to come
best we
back.
conjure her up when we are going there, then.
We'll need a little bit of
And how
time
will you
with the
disguise
whole disguising and things. Maybe 15 minutes or so?
For three of us, it should probably go quickly as long as we focus on different things.
You would think that it would take a bit of time at least to gather supplies, unless someone has like a big old disguise kit ready to go, as you're basically going to need a costume to make.
Who doesn't
But-
have disguise kits?
I don't know. Who doesn't?
Sure, I
Oh,
don't have
okay,
one.
well, carries one.
Well, regardless, it would take about 15 minutes probably for three of you dressing someone up. You'd think you probably do a pretty good job, depending on how well you can apply your talents.
Reliably.
Reliably, how about that?
Alright. So, Sweet, are you ready?
Has it been a short rest?
15 minutes will pass. It's just during this time the group starts to reel back a bit and rediscuss their plan, it seems like. But eventually, what does it look like you're making, Swift Hollow?
As, with the help, the retroactive help, turning time back a bit, her, well, I guess friend would be a heavy term, business partner, Gizmo, over the course of the downtime, she expressed an interest in the ways of tinkering and the ways of artifice, and in doing so, Gizmo had something special prepared for her. The Nightcrawler Chatels, which is dual thieves tools and tinker tools, as Swift Hollow with this weird cloth, this twine, needle and thread, sewing stuff together as it starts. As it's strange at first, it doesn't really look like anything, but as time goes on, it forms themselves into almost like a pair of shoes, although not really. It seems to be only the bottom part, soles if you will. It seemed to just slip on over her boots, as with her Nightcrawler Chatels, she's just making soft soles.
Nice. Taking about
Less
a
traction,
minute or so.
but
Takes about a minute or so to
Very-
actually apply them to your footwear, but once they're on,
yeah.
seems like it makes your footsteps almost completely silent, although because they're so soft, it's hard to keep a proper footing, so your speed will be cut in half.
But they're not magical.
There you go.
As
Okay.
with that done, she rolls up her tools and puts them back. Alright, disguise kit. As into another bag. Man, Swift Hollow, you're literally Batman. More pouches, more bags. Oh yeah, she has a big bag of holding. But
Mhm.
not on her.
As it
It's
seems
too
like you got
big.
your soft
It's so
soles put on. You guys are ready to go scout?
Yeah.
Turn me into air.
Not yet until we get close.
Oh, alright.
As you guys will make your way back into the city streets of Oakwell. Again, Festival's still going on quite merrily. Only took about like half an hour for you guys in total to meet back, discuss your plan, wait for Sotala to complete her tools, and then eventually come back into the streets. Seems like it's only about 8:30 now. As you guys are, what are you guys doing your beginning your scouting? Are you heading right up to the walls? What's your trek like? Where you guys heading up to?
What's this area down here? It's like
This is actually one of the open courtyards for the mayor's estate. It's considerably open right now. Some nobility would have been walking around, but now that it's late, it's sort of kept mostly empty. You figure the mayor would probably be fine with you guys using that for your rendezvous if you gave him an ask.
I would go and find the three amigos.
Okay. Going out and finding Clyde, Javen, and Gregory.
Yep.
Probably Gregory and Clyde at home now. I don't know what Javen's up to. He's probably bar hopping.
Probably.
I don't know. Luck.
Sheer luck. What would what's Clyde doing? What's his pitch to them? And what are the characters' responses, I suppose? Since we have all three of them are players here.
I would go and probably ask Clyde to be a lookout on one of the rooftops just to make sure that everyone gets home safely. I'm assuming Clyde probably knows, Greg and George and Frank and Steve and, several of the guards that he's trained. He'd be out of harm's way for the most part. Gregory, I would pull on the Jody strings because of the connection there. Javen, I would just say, hey, do you want to go have some fun?
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, I know.
Who's persuasive motherfucker. All right.
Son of a bitch, I'm in. All right, so what do we have to do? What? Just go in there? All right. But, oh yeah, you eventually find Javen. He's probably, like, causing chaos in what does he call again? The big trout. Most likely.
Blasting his horn as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What does Quibbler
man.
want Javen to do?
To meet with us at the courtyard, to listen to Samantha's plan.
Okay.
Plan. Boy.
Gregory. Seems like Quildar comes to you later at night, discussing what's happened. How do you feel about the situation, Greg?
I feel like Gregory might already know, because he probably went to the Fallen Horse and couldn't fucking find Jody, and probably started asking people around of where the fuck did Jody go? Because it's 8 o'clock and the festival is going on and the Fallen Horse is closed?
Hey, that's why you're walking
What's
around.
happening?
You have the night off?
Yeah, she gave you the night off.
But he'd probably still swing by there, before going about his business just to check off on the place, because the Warrior Ward itself, and finding the place closed and Jody not around probably get him upset. So he'd probably go to find Bea and probably knows what the fuck is going on at this point.
Okay. So what's
the
Greg
gist
up to
of
do?
it? Whatever they would tell him, rather. If they're just like, don't worry about it, Jody, we'll have her doing something, go home, then he'd go home. But if they're like, she's been kidnapped, then he'd probably be with the rest of the guard people that are like making the perimeter, probably hanging out by Bea, just waiting for her to tell him to do something.
Sure. Yeah, Bea would definitely let you know at least that there's a situation going on. The Vanguard's handling it, but yeah, there's something big going on in town. If you want to get involved, she might need some help with some of the guards around here in case there is an incident and they need to rush in. It'd be nice to have an able man on the field.
Whatever you need. That's yeah, he'll go back home and he'll put on his old trusty armor and go to the church. Go get his sword. He hasn't fucking drawn in quite a while, but it's always there, especially if Jody's in trouble. Ain't gonna sit idle.
Okay.
Getting the gang back together.
As the gang is slowly but surely getting back together, the rest of your group, you guys are meeting up in the courtyard then, probably swinging by the mayor's estate to ask him, like, we're going to use your courtyard here to do some, I guess, scouting, rendezvousing, magic stuff.
Or staging area.
Staging area. Works for me as... How's this playing out? What are you guys doing with your Scouterino? What does it look like? Are you sending out the little thing to go fly? Are you sending Swift Hollow here invisible? What's going on? Paint me a picture.
Turn me into the wind. I will go and take a look. If I don't need to go to the building, I will not. So I just need to see who we are dealing with to gauge their strength.
Can you take to the rooftops so you don't even have to go inside?
That's my plan exactly. If I can simply gaze through the windows, that is all I need.
Fine. Don't move. There's your doll, Luna.
It's just up here. It's right behind her, creepily.
Now that is unsettling.
God, I hope it has like lifeless doll eyes.
Is it up and awake now, Luna?
No, it's not tired. It's just tired.
Still hanging loosely.
We're just
Okay.
sending in the two of you just to scout for right now.
It was doll, not doll, but my hound, Apollo, and Tamar.
Swift Hollow, you're also scouting now.
Fortress infiltration is my expertise.
Any more hands on the approach?
More possibilities for failure. Don't get caught. Otherwise everything is for naught. And Samantha takes her scepter, and you can see she
You
just
insult
has...
me. By instigating, I would do that.
It seems I'm more unlucky than I thought. She seems to have like this sort of shifted demeanor. It's normally like festivals are just a great time for Samantha, especially something like Argos Day, and she just seems to be as serious as the grave. There doesn't really seem to be any jokes or smiles or even slyness to her. It's like she is just all business and no time for any happiness, it seems like. And she just sort of gives her scepter a twirl, and just like that, the Hound, Tamir Khan, and Swift Hollow all turn invisible.
I like it.
Persephone?
Right before Samantha casts her invisibility, I had to check something. Persephone is going to hold something out to Swift Hollow, and not really hold it out to you, Swift Hollow. Persephone grabs your hand and puts something in it. I heard the kobolds fought. They're probably injured. If you see them, if you get a chance, just bind this to one of their wounds. If you can. And then I let go. Giving you 2 of my lichen poultices. Little mossy band-aids.
Yeah, little lichen poultices. He's like
Yeah,
big old.
lichen poultices.
They're like big old, like the old-fashioned, like gauzy bandages, but they're like seem to be lined with like it looks like a thin, soft, fuzzy layer of some sort of plant life.
Potable. She just, puts it into one of her many... Man, I need to just make like a tool belt. Like an official tool belt item.
Go be Batman again.
Go be Batman.
Here's my Batman.
As once Swift Hollow gathers, it looks to be these medicines. The magic overtakes the 3 of them, and whereas once the sort of floating doll, your friend Tamar Khan, and the silent Swift Hollow, almost seems like the wind blows and they're gone. Invisible.
Invisible and no sound to be heard.
Sits down and her eyes just turn white as she begins to look through her hound's eyes.
All right. What's it look like when your hound animates once it's up and doing stuff? Because probably the first time you guys have seen the hound in action alive since his metamorphosis, one might say.
I mean, the hound's invisible. This is nothing.
I just mean like before when he was coming alive to do stuff.
I mean, its natural state is just that kind of creepy, dead kind of look to it until I actually dire it, and then it becomes like more
I
animated,
see.
more
Gotcha.
vicious.
So it's more like a little haunted doll thing. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Those three become invisible, and what do you do from here? It looks like Tamarkan is taking up towards one of the rooftops, very easily scaling from what looks to be a considerable distance, about 500 feet or so away from the actual guild hall.
Oh, whoops.
Does Guildhall have a second floor?
For some reason, I thought that was the guild hall. Whoopsie
No.
doodles.
Guild hall is way up in the middle of the town.
Forgot.
You guys got some good real estate.
That's
Yeah, we
fucking
did.
highlighted. I'm just a blind derpus.
Sure. Okay. Finding yourself a nice little outpost post right next to the center of town, you'd easily be able to scale up these walls. These buildings, their walls are so smooth and simple looking, but there's all these beautiful little handholds, little like lantern sconces that you're easily able to climb up. No challenge at all until you find yourself at the top of one of these buildings, looking down. It looks to be this large square-shaped like set of walls, about 40 feet high in total, and behind it is this two-story building, large in size, the guild hall you've come to know that you've just developed here in Oakwell, only about 30 feet high as well. It seems like the walls are just big enough to offer a little bit of cover from the rest of the building, which at the top, I'd say you'd be able to notice with your invisible eyes. It looks like sets of torchlights upon every parapet. It seems like the four corners of your guild hall are these great guard stances you can take, where it looks like they have the lights burning as if, there are guards on duty. And it seems like there are guards on duty. You see men in armor holding spear and shield, standing at the tops, just sort of like casually keeping watch to and fro, one at every parapet. Behind within, you see some movement, although there isn't a tremendous amount of light in that surrounding area to really offer you from this distance anything more than just some moving shadows. You do see it looks like a patrol of some people moving down on the eastern side from the far north eastern end of the wall before moving up back to the other side. It looks like people looking for something, but kind of hard to tell from this distance. However, you can tell that the walls outside seem to be only guarded by these guards at the parapets. You could see the great gate in front where it looks like this large bulletin board where there would have been like a list of jobs or applications for people maybe joining a guild hall has been basically torn apart, thrown on the ground. It looks like there is obvious signs of some sort of scuffle, but almost seems like they've been trying to hide it, at least from the general eye. You can look down in the streets, Tamarkan, and see people still making their way around. Some of them will eye the guild hall, look towards the door, see if there's any way to get inside, but the guards up top will mention or basically say that the guild hall's not open yet. Come back another time. And they'll go about their business. Let's see. Is there anything else you're specifically looking for, Tamarkan? As you probably make it there the quickest and have the first bird's eye view. It's, again, kind of hard to see from this distance. You're up high and somewhat far away, trying to look beyond large walls.
Yeah, first task is basically just seeing the average guy that seems to be stationed out here. It seems like I've got sight of a couple guards on these sort of four corners, so set my eyes on one of them. But yeah, taking a moment to observe them from a little bit of distance, trying to learn what I can, but very quickly I am going to wrap my hand around the top of this tower and just sort of spin myself, kicking across it like I'm running in a circle, and then launch myself off of the tower into the middle of this compound.
Oh, really? Okay. Nice. As I'm going to ask you right now for, let's see, it's kind of far, height distance. You could do some far jumping with your little legs, assuming you're using a step of the wind, because you still have some distance between here and the next building. Sure.
Yep. Stepping in the wind.
Just past the wall, begin to fall down. Assume about, you think maybe 60 or so feet. Assuming you can probably, what do you think, 66? Can you slow fall that?
It's like 5 times my level.
Yeah.
Highly doubt it's going to do more than that.
Okay. As well, just roll real quick. As you begin to descend down, this invisible wind, falling down past the wall, doing 66. Who knows? Ooh, nicely done.
So
As
it's
one
30.
last check, as
Need
I'm
to
gonna
update.
add. Yeah, I need to update because you're level 6 now. I'm gonna ask you for a stealth check though, because although you are unseen and you're landing very gently, you do immediately land in the middle of this yard and find individuals. Now your vision's clearing up, still within like maybe like 60 or so feet of you, and you are a presence, although falling gently, still falling and disturbing your environment.
I'm definitely trying to land like on top of a building. If that's literally in the middle of the wall, because as far as I can reach, or if I can actually reach the building itself to land on the roof, that's where I'm aiming.
Okay.
I don't want to land on the ground.
Yeah, let's see. That would be possible. There is a lot more building in this guild hall vicinity than there is actual land around it. So you'd usually be able to land on land. You'd actually take less damage then too. I would ask for an acrobatics check then, because you're trying to land sort of gracefully on top.
Traces, guide my aim. As I call from some guidance as I fly through the air.
All right, considerably enough. It is most of your
21.
effort. Oh, nice. Most of your effort is put into the long jump to get there, but once you find yourself reaching your mark, it becomes obvious you need to find a way to carefully land without just crashing into this thing. You're able to land gracefully and land softly on your feet, but you also need to find a way to keep your balance, as this roof is not completely flat. It is sloped down, allowing rain to pour off of it, not settle within the actual like tiles on top. But you do find your feet very gently slapping onto the top, silently slapping onto the top of this rooftop.
Silently and visibly.
Oh, that's true. As your form would start to reappear in the air the moment you would start to land, as you have cast a spell.
Oh, the guidance.
As roll me a stealth check. Good point. Thank you, Jordan.
Shit.
Hey man, if he blows it, it's on him.
As a stealth check, with advantage, 26. As I through the air, as I call upon my guidance, as I'm like making my way into the compound. Oh, that's strange. As I just whirl the wind up around me as I land and just immediately go prone on top of the roof.
As you would land flat, basically silent, thanks to your feet hitting the ground and sliding down, keeping your body very gracefully flattened against the roof, like a cat. As while all this is going on, it seems like you don't quite disturb your surroundings. Swift Hollow. You find yourself at this point when Mr. Tamarkan has scaled the building and done his sort of surveying of the surrounding walls. You find yourself approaching very quietly up towards what looks like this large 40-foot wall. How do you try to get into the guild hall, if you even do?
Are they
Looking
handholds
around the
to land with?
walls.
I mean,
Like,
can I I was going to joke like, oh, I can just go through the gate, right? You know, invisibly.
You can give it,
Or
check
should
it
I
out.
take
There
gust
is.
of wind?
I would. So you're approaching from the gate side.
Let's see. Telepathically messaging Luna. Alright. What do you see? You have my eyes.
Okay, so you're waiting for Luna to go first, then.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Alright,
Perfect.
Hound. UAV.
All right, Hound. As
What do you see?
invisible, floating through the air. I'm assuming you're approaching from the gate side, or basically at this point, looking through this thing's eyes. You're not able to get a full, direct, like bodily sense from it, but you can see what it sees and hear what it hears, and you can basically watch this thing specter its way through obstacles along its path. Although it can only do so very briefly. If it lingers too long in an object or a creature, it seems like it just sort of the magic that conforms its incorporeal body would be disrupted and cause it some harm. So where are you approaching at from this guild hall?
I'm also just taking a straight line through from where we started, just going through buildings all the way to, I don't know where the gate is. I assume the gate's on this side. I'm going to this side.
Let's see. It would be from that side, yes.
Yeah, so I'm just probably passing by Swift Hollows. Swift Hollows probably faster. I have a 40-foot fly movement.
About the
Just
same.
Avoid.
I have 20-foot move.
Oh, you're really slow. You have your soft souls on, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm
I
avoiding
have no
going-
traction. I am mobile.
I'm telling the Hound to avoid going through people, since I know what it feels like to have spirits pass through my body. It's not pleasant. You probably notice.
Mm-mm.
So just make a straight beeline into the compound, into the building.
Sure. Sort of circling around the side of the building, you'd find the front entrance. Unable to spot your allies as you're all invisible, but there is that sort of shared knowledge, sort of ping between your minds, keeping each other knowledgeable of your location. I'm up here, I'm over here. As you would find yourself quite easily able to reach the front gate of this thing and just float on through. As you do approach the front gate, though, you would see there are a pair of closed barn doors, somewhat slightly askewed. It seems like there is a stable at the front end of the guild hall where horses would be, although you don't recall if you guys had any horses at the time. Potential entrance. But regardless, the little hound would slink his way up into the guild hall. As give me a stealth check with advantage, little hound. You don't really disturb your environment too much, but it's more so just avoiding people. Not a particularly hard check to make for you. With all your extra hiding magic, it should be pretty easy.
I believe in you, Hound.
Oh, decent enough. As you will slip your way inside this guild hall, just about the same time as I think Tamar Khan will be lining up his jump. As we'll start to move. Cool.
So we'll relay to Swift Hollow. There did seem to be a barn. Our barn. We don't have any horses there, but the door is actually slightly askew. You might be able to sneak in through there.
Taking her advice, that's where Swithalo starts to head.
Alright. So Talo, roll me a stealth check. As you see these barn doors, they are slightly askew. You could try to open them and slide inside, but it would take a careful hand and careful steps to not basically make any of the wood creak. You're trying to be as silent as possible. This is a very delicate mission, and you cannot afford failure.
No, I can't. Alright, behold! Stealth, right?
Yes, sir.
Alright, this is gonna be fun.
Oh, easily enough.
33.
Able to just sort of reach out with very careful, silent movements. Even your footsteps hitting the ground where the earth becomes soft and a bit muddied as it is a stable. You're able to leave this sort of smooth, non-trail behind you as the doors very quietly creak and you begin to make your way inside. Just as you make your way within, Tamar Khan's mostly silent descent shadows atop of the building, and our little hound would begin his seeking throughout this place. All of you rolling considerably well on your checks. One sec. Where'd you go, little boy? There you are, little boy.
Is everything alright? The spell on me just disappeared. I'm
Did you
busy.
attack anybody?
Did you cast magic to Marcon?
Yes, is that the problem?
Yes.
Yes.
It's the entire party face palms.
Well, that's good to know now, I suppose. Do not
I
worry.
said it would last longer but be much more tenuous. I suppose I'll explain in greater detail in the future.
A lesson half taught is not taught at all.
As
That is
Tamar-
fine. I'll find my own way.
Tamar Khan, sort of raising yourself a little bit on the roof, you begin to look around your surroundings. From the far considerable distance you actually made it, you would be able to see a number of people on the eastern side of this wall making patrolled rounds. The hound would be making his way through the walls very carefully, just basically getting a whole sightseeing adventure, and Swift Hollow would have to be very careful with where she steps, as just past the barn, just around the walls, this place is filled with life, and the only thing seemingly keeping her out of their sight is the dim light of this darkening night and the invisible magic keeping her from view. As our sneaky Valiant Vanguard will find themselves sneaking around the entire ground of what would only be a fully explored guild hall. As we're just going to sort of smooth through the stealth mission and show you guys what you see.
Oh boy.
As Tamar Khan, you find yourself on top of the building, 30 feet off the ground, not inside the room. I don't have a roof layer, I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm assuming the building is taller than the walls.
The building's actually a bit shorter than the walls.
Ah.
About 10 feet or so. You're able to clear the 40-foot wall and then come down to the 30-foot tall building.
Ah.
Those blue lines supposed to be windows?
There are definitely windows, as you can see the hound slinking its way to and fro, slipping between the walls or any obstacle it sees. It seems like there are a number of windows surrounding this place from both eastern, northern, southern, and it looks to be western sides. It looks like it's meant to try and capitalize on the little light that Oakwell gets until the midday, especially the closer you get to the center of the city. But as you're sort of making your way around, either slinking across the roof or carefully tiptoeing to and fro around those walking around, or some of you just literally ghosting through the walls, you would be able to slide around and find a number of individuals locked within these walls. A number of them seem almost like they're guards. They wear this sort of heavier set of armor. Looks like maybe you'd think possibly like chainmail hidden beneath padded leather. They wear these like very crude, simple-looking helmets, these long cloaks going down their backs, and hitched to each side of their hip seems to be what looks to be a rusted, not rusted, but sort of rugged edge, but still polished set of hand axes. You can see a number of these individuals in quite considerable number, maybe about 16 in total, as you're slipping through the walls. Some of them seem to be going through, ruffling through supplies, pulling open drawers, as you can see, and it looks to be an office of sorts. Papers have been scattered all over the place. It looks like they're just sort of peeking around, not with anything of desire or intent, just sort of seeing what's here. Others seem to be locked in either conversation or maybe just a bit of roughhousing with what looks to be a couple of rather wounded guards. It looks like they're barely conscious. A couple of them sharing a quiet conversation with someone down south. The rest of them, who aren't on patrol or seeking out whatever little hidden treasures lie here, seem to be tending to a number of other guards you find by passing through the walls or peeking in the windows. You can see on this large room, one of the bedrooms here, there is a total of about 8 or so guards kept bound back to back. Not muffled, but their hands are just sort of tied together, and they look quite exhausted, like they just came to from unconsciousness, as they are currently having their fastenings tightened. Some of these decently armored individuals are joined by much heavier armored foes. They look like they're wearing like sets of plate, but you can see they are definitely separated by these like distinct lines, like strips of metal, and it looks to be in some places just leather. As it looks at these men in like heavy splint armor, housing a pair of what looks to be maces at their side, are sort of joining these men, oftentimes just pointing and barking in order at one of these lesser armored individuals. I guess Tamarkan would be the first to see this one. On the far eastern side of the fort, you can see a couple of these. It looks like just, these individuals, these armored folk, seem to be walking with a careful step behind. It looks to be a sniffing hound whose nose is pressed against the grass, seeking something out. But the hound is strange. As it steps forward, you can see its claws sort of digging into the earth. It takes a big breath before suddenly like huffing out, and like how dogs do. They take several big sniffs and then exhale suddenly. But with every exhalation, there's this small like gout of what looks to be like dark dust, either from the ground or it almost kind of looks like smoke. And the guards seem a little apprehensive of it as it walks forward. Let's see. I would say the ghost and Swift Hollow would be the first and quickest to notice at the northeastern side, or it looks like the master bedroom of this guild hall would be, which has been sort of tossed and turned all about. Looks like there's like drinks and wine spilled across would be the bed. There are more hostages, at least 2 more pair, with one of them sort of hidden up against like the side of the bed between a chest and a wall, sort of hidden away from the window, but the small hound would be able to spot it with its eyes. It looks like a pair of unarmored and bound kobolds, badly beaten. It looks like it seems like their bodies have housed now. It looks like bludgeoning marks and even like some cuts across their small form. It looks like a couple of Samantha's champions have been seeing some pretty harsh combat and have suffered some grievous wounds. And on that same note, maybe just sort of scouting the entire vicinity of the wall, it looks like a small tool shack. Slipping through the wall very carefully, you notice there are actually creatures inside here, unbound, and at least trying their best to stay hidden, but you can see they're biting at their claws, pushing themselves up against the walls, as it looks like the kobold, those who remained within the walls, found themselves at least outside of the captives of the Hell's Hydras, but they are currently doing their best to stay quiet.
Where were the 2 beaten kobolds?
Looks like they're up at the northeastern room with the other hostages.
Oh, there they are. Okay.
Yeah, they're tiny. Only the ghost would have seen them because the wall, the tiny little creature would be able to see past the bed and the chest. sort of floating up over
That,
their
that was a
heads.
question of like, I didn't know if the tokens were not placed or something. I just didn't know what you're talking about.
Oh no, I'm just
I know Tamar doesn't know they're there.
yeah. Let's see. And I guess with all of that said, besides the simple looking, it looks to be guards standing at the tops of these parapets that have these like winding staircases leading down. You'd find the main room with the large, long obsidian table stretched down its length. This room looks like it saw basically the heart of the battle. You could see a number of individuals stationed here, sitting in chairs with dim candle light sort of illuminating this room. At the far southern side, you'd see it looks to be something of a slim, like very svelte looking individual covered in what looks to be this like riveted armor, wearing like a very like verbose coat over one shoulder, who seems to be like very carefully polishing, looks like, or I guess sharpening rather, a number of what looked like they were once broken crossbow bolts. This individual with like this short, like scruffy, looks like pair of sideburns going down his face, just keeping his bolt sharp as he lines each one up on a table, seemingly just sort of making some small talk with this individual across from him. The individual seems to have no part in this conversation. He is this large, hulking man. Looks like he's just straight out of like a gladiatorial arena. His body's covered what looks to be like straps. There's like a long, winding brass chain with spikes hung around his neck. He wears a full-faced helmet where there's no real reveal of what lies beneath, except for just this like matted tuft, like a mane of hair resting across his shoulders, back and chest. He wears what looks to be like scale mail, but it comes down to his waist, almost like a greaves of sorts. It seems like he keeps most of his upper body undefended, save for like a large, like scale-covered belt. He has like a spear strapped to his back and a shield that seems to be still stuck to his arm. These two seem to be sort of just chatting back and forth. This individual to the east, just still polishing or sharpening his crossbow bolts, just chattering along. I'm telling you, my friend, this is going to be quite a gamble. All plays out, we'll find ourselves in quite a position, but between you and all south.
Oh no!
Oh no,
You got
got some of that
crunchy.
old
Go
omen.
back.
Oh no!
Come back, Owen.
So who's the one that's
Quite a
talking?
gamble.
Is it Jody or the guy at the end of the?
This guy down here.
Okay.
It's going to be quite a gamble. This is... I don't think anyone's ever done this before, but no one's ever been quite like Mr. Kane. Between you and me, though, if all falls through, I am not here to die. I'm in for a good position. A good lease on life. If this goes south, my friend, let's say we just slip on out the back. Go find a new way out. Huh? As this large individual just sort of grunts. Ugh. Sort of like pushes this candle across the table, sort of falls down to this man's lap. Hey, you could have just said no, you know. Not much of a talker, are you? As moving up north, you can see what looks to be another individual wearing like, it looks like to be these loose, broken robes across his body. It looks like they would have been fine at one point, but they've seen battle and just have never been repaired. His head completely shaven of hair, save for a single war strip on top of his head. He got this very hardened look on his face. And I guess Mr. Ghost, able to slip through the walls and get a maybe closer look, you could see as he seems to be spreading something across the center of this obsidian table. He has this like pouch of what looks to be sand, but it's bright and it's glittering as he's able to sort of like spread it in this small hand smear across the center and begins to like very carefully like draw his finger within it. As he seems to be just like sort of just spreading this loose, sparkling material across the center of this table. He sort of stops for a moment in the middle of this as if he's realized something. The ghost floating in front of him, his head sort of looking up to match the ghost's gaze. And then he sort of like grits his teeth. And he just puts his hand on his chest as he like holds it in pain and sort of just like, taps it. Calm down. Calm down. Get it together, child. As he scratches at his chest, you can see the robes sort of part. And for a moment, you get a glimpse of what looks to be just some object like wedged in the center of his chest, like past the flesh, sort of forced into him, but only for a glance, before he continues going back to his work. And eventually, making your way very carefully up north, you would find a very upsetting sight. You would see what looks to be Jody, hands now tied behind her back with thick tufts of rope, hemp in material, but now some of it seems to be stained with blood. You can see you've seen Jody before when she's exited battle. She's been worse for wear at times, though you've seen her come out triumphant. Here, it's a reminder that seemingly at times your infallible patron can be defeated. Her face is dark, covered no longer in this light, like green sort of emerald hue that you're used to seeing, but instead just covered. It looks like she got a good score across the face by the back end of a blunt weapon, as she's like sort of like keeping her head up ever so often, like a bit sway in her sit. And next to her, as if not a care in the world, is this well-armored individual covered what looks to be this very like diabolical looking set of plate mail, covered in what looks to be these sharpened scales, pointed pauldrons, and this long flowing red cape that comes down his back like a waterfall and sort of tucks between his legs, as he seems to be sitting very carefully and comfortably on the edge of this now bestrewn table head seat. Behind him seems to be an individual who's sort of minding his own business. There's a lot of chaos and destruction all around in this guild hall, but what you can see, his eyes seem to be trained elsewhere. He just seems to keep his hands folded behind his back, beneath this like tuft of what looks to be dark feathered mantle running down his back. This individual who seems to be wearing this like iron mask atop his face, who just seems to be smiling and staring out into the night through this window, seemingly just sort of pleased with what he's looking at, although what exactly he sees, you can't really tell. As you would find Jody and Mordred actually sort of engaging in conversation. You'd sort of catch them in this moment amidst their, I guess, the middle of some sort of shared moment between them. You can see Jody like lifting her head. I promise you, they will come. They have a duty to this town. They are heroes of Oakwell. They'll abide, if only to see these people safe. And Mordred just sort of sitting back in his chair. It looks like he was eating something maybe found in the storeroom, but it's now just bones on a plate. As he sort of just scratches the side of his face, his one eye just sort of staring off in the distance, before turning back to Jody. How do I know you're telling the truth? How do I know this isn't a lie, Jody? You have many reasons to lie to me. I've heard of your reputation as being someone who knows exactly what to say, and exactly how to say it to make things favorable for her end. I suppose that this might be, after all, is your end. Why should I believe there's only 5? And you can see Jody, like, lift up her head a little bit. One is just a boy. I don't know why they picked him up, but I suppose good adventurers need good squires. He certainly seems like he's seen some combat, though. Doesn't seem to appear as a mere squire. That boy has some strength to him now, doesn't he? Was he in there fighting that dragon? I can't say for certain. But the other... You thought you yourself, didn't you? Not like the others. Many are strong, cutting, serious. Ever since Timberson left the circle, and as she says that, she sort of like looks up, and strangely enough, to the Hound's eyes, you can see her eyes sort of like look up to like one of the walls, and then sort of like peer around the other wall, as if like she's sort of like glancing around, trying to look for something before continuing to speak. The valiant vanguard lost the face of the common people. They know how to be approachable, but they needed something new. It was Samantha's idea. Bring someone who can appeal to the common folk. Someone simple. I did not expect her to bring in a clown. But we saw him in the fight, Jody. He struck down a dragon with the edge of his stick, did he not? And you can see her look up. Even your invoker stated it. That performance, a work of magic. Easy to facsimilate anything you see. And you can see the man like turn around, look back at Mordred. Now this smile spread across. It was quite a lovely performance, I must say. Very entertaining, very impressive use of illusion magic. What wonderful little lies could be told within. Did they really come out truly unscathed? Were they really so heroic? Who's to say? A wonderful story to be spun. The madam would be very pleased. As you see him look down at his hand, and there's a small, like a jagged cut mirror he looks into with a quick smile. If only she had seen it herself. Nevertheless, instructions were clear, as you made them. If those squires are seen anywhere within these walls, near these walls, if there's a hint that anything could go wrong, Jody, that'll be your end. Although, that may not be a problem for you by the end of tonight. I'm certain the right decisions will be made. As you see Jody just kind of look up at him. Who are you? Why are you doing this? Is this a grudge? And she looks back around, sort of surrounding herself.
The hound's gonna just like slightly move through her shoulder, just give her like a hint that something is there that is quite unseen.
As suddenly the spectral spirit slides through Jody's body, she sort of like jolts up for a moment in surprise. As she like catches herself. It's like a moment of disposition before she just turns back to Mordred. Why are you doing this? Just trying to like use her surprise to sort of facsimilate like urgency. Why the Vanguard? Why now? What do you have to gain from this? This is idiocy. There are guards all around. This town is full of adventurers. You're not going to win this. As Mordred sort of crosses his arms. Is that what you think? The guards will do something. The men of this town will do something. Jody, you know more than I do how strong these guards are. I have fought beside them. The strength of Oakwell lies in its adventurers. It lies in those who stand up to fight the perils that a mere god can do nothing against. Trust me. With what I've brought here, with what I've become, it doesn't matter who I was. All that matters is who I am now. And what will happen after tonight. As he'll like sort of shove the rest of his food over to her. Are you hungry? I would advise eating something. We don't want you dropping before our guests arrive. As unless there's anything else you want to do, about 20, almost 30-ish minutes would start to pass as the time is pressing on through your scouting.
I'm just making sure I'm getting good looks at a couple individuals, trying to gauge their strengths.
As you would be able to watch these individuals very carefully, mostly flattened up against the roof. It seems like you've basically kept yourself very well hidden. It seems like a lot of the torchlight that would reach up from some of these guys' hands, or maybe even from like some of the parapets, wouldn't quite reach you. You are like nicely nestled in the shadows and just close enough to get a decent look at them.
Yeah, I got my bag of tricks. I pull out my cloak that looks like it's about the same look, color, and texture of the roof, and I drape myself in it.
All right.
And yeah, I'm just looking at the guards that are sort of standing watch at the edges of the walls. Seems like they're maybe lesser armor, but getting a look at them for a bit. Then looking at these more heavily armored guards that are patrolling, and yeah, looking around. See who else is out in the open. That's probably it. And then, nope, changing my mind first. Doing dog first.
Okay.
Then lesser armored dude on the walls. Heavily armored dude is in the courtyards. And then I am Sneaking my booty over here. How much light is this big old fire setting off?
Let me check
Somebody
real quick.
tending to it?
It looks like it's just like a small bonfire that was set. It looks like nobody is tending to it, and in time it'll start to dim down. But you think it probably the light stretches out about maybe like 60 feet or so in a radius. Pretty big bonfire.
Hmm.
But again,
So-
it's also below you, so like light casting wise, if you're standing on the edge of the building, it would illuminate you, but behind
That's
it, you're
true.
just in shadow.
Let's see. If I can get a good angle, I'm going to try to get my booty over here. See if I can see downwards from the roof
You
into this
can.
window. See if
You
I
can
can
see this small garden.
see any individuals.
That's a little tough. You're staying down from a steep angle into the window's about 5 feet off the ground. I'd
don't
say
know
you'd
how
probably
big
be
the
able to
window
see. It's basically like it's wider than it is tall, but it is high enough to basically look outside of. You could probably crawl through it. It's large enough, but it's not meant to be like a full body window thing. But it is high enough considering you're 30 feet up. You're gonna have a sharp angle looking down, but you probably would be able to see just enough through that end to spot. I keep trying to move you, but I keep grabbing this guy. There we go. To spot this guy, maybe just his feet. It seems like he'd probably be walking out and eventually like making his way towards the other window, but his eyes seem to be keen on the fire until you see a light like cascade across him. This individual wearing it looks like a very interesting looking garb covered in feathers, this sort of like very dark like iron helmet with this long like fin sticking out the back almost. Still walk around with this very bemused looking expression.
I'm going to watch him for a bit and see if he sticks around for, trotting back and forth or so for the next 10 minutes or so. I'm going to have a good look-see at him as well.
Sure.
After that, probably won't test my luck any more than that, and make my way back to the center of the building as wait for the patrol. I'll probably wait for the patrol on the east side to sort of move north or west, and as I get to the middle of the roof, I am going to call upon just a tiny little bit of magic to enhance the strength of my legs. Call upon some blessings, and leap a billion feet into the air as I cast jump and a little step of the wind, and just launch myself like a motherfucker over the walls back across the street, out of the whole area.
Okay, as I would take another stealth check, as you are being considerably quiet. Your footsteps are silent, but it's more just about disturbing any tiles around to cause them from slipping. Whereas you run and jump.
It's a little bit of blessing of Ressus. God, we're stealth. I'm blind.
It's
Towards
as
the bottom.
nice as, again, very carefully knowing your footing and now keeping yourself leveled on this roof. You'd run and jump, and with a silent bound, this very quiet shadow would just leap up and over the wall unseen. As what about the rest of you guys? Are you doing looking or hearing for anything in particular? You guys sort of like at the general gist, unless there's anything specific you're looking for.
Are these guards on our side?
I don't know. You do see them at the parapets. You can try to give me an investigation roll once you get, if you want to dare to get closer to them.
They're just looking out, right?
They seem like they're looking out, not in.
Okay, hold on. Doesn't matter then.
Okay.
As with the intel of the hounds with all the lights to quickly make her way across the building. Does this patrol unit ever leave this area?
Which one?
One with the dog.
2 boys and the doggo.
They seem like they're making their way down south. They get close to looks like the shack here, but seems like the dog turns around and slips the other direction and makes its way up north and sort of like does a patrol. Looks like the north side and then down here on the east side. Doesn't quite take to the western side.
Paula will inch her way around and press herself against this building. She will slip past these guys.
All right. I'd say with your stealth check from before, very carefully sliding on silent, quiet, somewhat slow feet, able to slip just past them. You'd hear them sort of having like idle conversation with each other. This guard's like pressed up against this well. Looks like they're trying to apprehend him, but he's still got a bit of fight in him. They're just kind of not really heartily like trying to hit him or attack him. They're trying to grab at his wrists, as it seems like they're just trying to keep him still. Come on, man. Just go with it. It's easier for you. Just stop, please. Why? Rickard, you were a guard. Why are you doing this? There's good money to be made from this. There's a good living to be made from this. And we're already too far in it. Come on now. Best for everyone, and for you just to comply. It seems like they're just trying to apprehend this guy.
Stealth.
Just making your way around, sort of seeing a lot of the same stuff that it looks like the Luna would convey through the little hound.
Yeah, using the UAV hound intel.
Yeah, anything more than we've already been told?
Yeah.
Nope. She's making her way.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Doors open.
Seems like it.
Hey man, you guys gave Swift Hollow an objectives. 1 scout, 2 to save hostages.
You want to save hostages right now?
I don't know. I can save hostages right now.
As you relay that telepathically?
Don't do that. That would be a poor decision, Swift Hollow.
No, it's a great decision.
We're gonna come back and save hostages when we come as a unit, okay?
I relate to the party.
Easy.
It seems like Persephone was correct. I don't believe they think Swift Hollow is a part of us. I actually believe that Bram is part of the Valiant Vanguard, not just a retainer and Coulter Squire.
From what it was you were relaying, it sounded like they doubted Tamar Khan. He's the only clown of the group. Though, honestly, it was a little hard to discern.
I believe they think that Tamar Khan was brought in to kind of replace Gregory as like a more common person.
As a publicity stunt.
We are pretty intimidating, something like that.
Yeah, definitely seems like, from what Jody conveyed, possibly Tamar Khan's involvement is to just be a face. And that whatever strength he might have, whatever actual skill he might portray, was just for the illusion's sake of having a friendly clown in the group, as opposed to the rest of the mostly everyone but Persephone intimidating Valiant Vanguard.
Seems like they don't even think Tamar Khan can actually fight.
So then who's actually not part of the Vanguard then?
Swift Hollow.
What?
Swift Hollow.
Yeah,
It's going back and forth, like
Swift Hollow
there's
and
too many
myself.
people.
The
Tamar
5
Khan.
members of the Valiant Vanguard: Quildo, Luna, Samantha, Persephone, Jody.
And Bran.
Not Bran.
Bran.
Not Bran.
Not Bran.
Bran
Jody.
is
Who's
a
the
squire.
squire?
Bran is a squire. It seems like they think
So who-
Tamar Khan is not part of the group. Bran, he thinks
so-
Bran
so-
and Tamar Khan are squires.
So Bran was the one that or not Bran. So who was the one he was saying had like scars and looked like he'd seen a fight?
Looked like Bran, because he was like, are you sure he's not part of the group? Because he looks like he got fucking jacked.
He started as a
okay.
boy and now he's got beefy.
Okay, so
He's
they
a man!
They think Bran and Tamar Khan are the hangers on, not actually.
Oh
parts of
no,
it.
we all got it wrong. The DM just had
Yeah.
to tell us the answer. Oh
Yeah,
no.
that's what I was saying.
Oh, no.
I fucking,
You guys are doing-
got it right when I was saying it sounds like Tamar Khan is the one that's not part of the group. He's the clown.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah, so Tamar Khan is the publicity stunt. He's not supposed to be actually part of the Vanguard. So we do need a stand-in for Swift Hollow then. That's the important part.
Or Swift Hollow stays with us and Tamar Khan saves them. Shove people in his bag of holes.
Based on what your spook is saying, saving the hostages is going to be really difficult.
Well, it might be difficult, but if
Honestly,
they already don't expect one of us, it might be safest just to have Swift Hollow there, in case they have ways of making sure it's really her.
Oh, yeah, sure, but what were you going to say, Luna?
I was going to say it seems almost impossible to save all the hostages at least. They're too spread apart.
Nothing is so impossible.
Yeah, she would relay kind of the hostage layout. Kildor would agree with her. They're in several different rooms, some of them out in the open. Jody is in another room. I would suspect at least 30 to 40% casualty rate.
And honestly, it seems like some of the people are former guards trying to convert other guards.
Parts of Oakwell?
Whatever Morsha Kane is paying them seems to be quite worth it.
Whatever
God,
it
life is not a
now,
high-paying role.
I mean, from what
Probably
I've seen,
sold his humanity to something or made some deal with the devil, I don't doubt.
the hostages are in 3 places, yes? 1, basically unguarded. 2, lightly guarded, but not many of the hostages there. And 3, more heavily guarded, but a majority of the hostages. The one in the courtyard, I was there for 40 minutes, I think they got him. I don't think they'll be scrambling outside, he'll probably be taken to the rest of them. And then Jody. The ones that are by themselves, easily enough to get out without much fuss. The ones that are lightly defended, may be able to take them out before they can raise much of a fuss. That leaves simply one location, where the hostages must be saved when everything kicks off, as it were. I do not see why this is so impossible.
If we
They're
start with a
just
smaller
decently
group
spread out.
They are, but if we're in there talking, Tamar Khan could probably go one segment at a time. And you don't need to rush it. Just stay quiet.
Seems like the kobolds in the south, where they are, there is a stream of sorts next to the wall, or even the stables. I could probably sneak them out relatively easily, with a trick or two. Thankfully, they are small fellows. We are not the ones in the north. If we could do like Persephone said with her dryad ladies, which Olaf's help, we could probably get them out and take care of their captors relatively quickly, without causing much of a fuss.
I mean, they want us to go there unarmed. There's not much that I could do with my fists and no armor and no shield.
And if we show up in armor, that's a non-starter. Who shows up in armor to submit themselves to the captives?
Honestly, probably Caldor.
What was that?
I said honestly, probably Caldor. I've seen Caldor doing something like that.
When it comes to their troops, God!
Oh.
What have I learned from my investigation? From those dogs.
Mm-hmm. At least the one dog.
Was it just the one dog?
From those dog.
From all those dog.
Uh-huh.
How much health did it look like that dog had in its wounded state compared to myself?
Ooh. Is it current hit points you get to see?
Total hit points.
Cool, yeah. It seems like it has... You are quite a hardy individual who's seen many battles, many trials, some of them by the scarring claws and teeth of monsters, others simply by the hazards of the world. You are quite a hardy individual, but you would know that this strange-looking dog cannot take as much damage or as many blows as you can.
No. How about its armor class here? I probably far outclass it, right?
It seems like this thing walks with a bit of a heavy trudge. There's a bit of slight grace in its step, but its hide, as it sort of like turns and as it like maybe brushes up against one of these like wooden panels, you can see even some of the sharpened edges of broken wood just sort of press into the thick, dark leather and pull away. It seems like this thing is definitely not quite as strong as you, but there is a considerable strength to its what might call its own leathery hide, its own natural armor.
And what of its strength itself?
Out of its strength itself, pretty powerful. You can see this thing has a large set of jaws. Its mouth is filled with teeth, and there seems to be some other weird strength hidden within. Not quite the kind you're looking at, but in terms of comparing actual physical strength, you think if this thing got a good hold of you, there would be a hard chance of you pulling away from its jaws. It is considerably strong.
I got a decent more of these, so we gotta zoom through.
Let's go.
Normal guards, were they having bows or were like spear boys?
Roll me an investigation check. I'm gonna need an investigation check for this.
Where's my character sheet? Nice.
Oof.
Yeah, looking at them, you could tell they look pretty simple. They look like regular guards. Their armor is very gentle and light, just like leather. Looks like easy to make and easy to manufacture for multiple people. Looks like they're holding swords, spears. They look no stronger, no tougher than anyone else that you fight.
I'm just asking if they were carrying spears or bows.
Oh yeah, spears and looks like these have spears and shields. Actually, you don't really see any
Gotcha.
bow on them.
Then their strength. They seem stronger than me. My 12
Nope,
strength.
They seem just actually. Yeah, they seem like about equal in terms of physical prowess.
Gotcha. Seem like their armor pretty lacking.
Very lacking. Compared to
Yeah.
your defenses, very lacking.
And it seems like, from what I've seen around town, probably one swift kick and they'd be out.
Probably, yeah.
All right, armored guards. What's that AC looking like? That big old chunky armor they got.
Nice. With both sort of conveying information from the hound as well as your own sort of observation, there is a soft, like, metallic clink whenever it moves. It's like a sort of rattling sound. These guys seem to be decently adorned. It looks to be chainmail, and they don't really have any other defenses on them. You think they probably have some considerable metal defending them. Still lesser than you, but of a considerable value.
All right. And their health. They look like big fucking meaty boys, or do they look like, just sort of well-trained individuals, but maybe a couple kicks?
Compared to you, definitely not able to stand up to as much, but you'd say probably compared to the other creatures you'd seen. Against the guards, definitely these guys are beefier. They are, in truth, adventurers at this point. They have more vitality to them, but probably a few kicks maybe.
Strength.
These guys seem to be walking around in some heavy old armor. It seems like compared to you, their strength is actually a lot higher.
Good.
Maybe not quite exactly as high as a dog's, but the difference is about the same.
Ah, okay. And then the one special boy I saw within, the one that seemed to be in the main office here. What's his health looking like? Does it look like he's scarred up and seen some shit, or does he look like a pretty boy I could put down?
Oh, when you first glance at him, it looks like he's covered. It looks to be like layers of cloth and feathers and even some metal. But it looks like he doesn't actually have any wounds on him. He seems to be in tip-top shape. But comparing his form to yours, from what you can see through his layers of clothing, seems like he's probably still not able to stand up to you in terms of defenses and vitality or even luck. Although, compared to his others, he might be a little harder to take down.
Good. And as look at that armor class. See if I saw the shine of magic on those strange robes, and I see a shield or something hidden away.
All you really see is that sort of glimmer of magic running across his form. It almost looks strangely metallic at times, to the point where when you're short time looking at him, you can almost see the reflection of other objects bounding between it and them as if they were like sheer, like a mirror. But it seems like with that sort of magical defense, it might pose as much defense as one might say the power of the chainmail those guys are wearing.
Okay. And then the last, and maybe the most important for this motherfucker. How many class levels this bitch got?
Ooh, interesting. Does it tell you what class what class levels?
It
or
just
like
says total class levels, if any.
Ooh, interesting enough, Tamar Khan. You look at this individual, smiling, hands folded behind his back, looking out the window. Seems so calm and serene. His body is meek. His body is barely protected by the use of magic. You think you could take him on a fight, but when you look at this magic shimmering over his form, when you see the way he stands, there's a moment where you realize that this aura he gives off, this sort of presence, this confidence, almost in a similar way to your own. The way that he sort of just floats around very carefully, gently looking around his surroundings. You would dare to think that maybe he stands just on the cusp of matching you.
Ooh. Alright, so
Spicy 10th level caster, nice.
from what I can see, those guarding the wall are nothing special. A swift strike would probably put one down easily enough. Barely more than your average strongman. The ones within in armor, they look trained. They carry themselves well, but many, almost all of them, seem to carry wounds upon them from the previous scuffle. Some of them limp, some of them not in great shape. Their armor is fitting, but simple chainmail. I didn't see too much magic upon their farms. There's a dog with it, strong, but not so dangerous. More a watchdog than anything else, I suppose. There was a man, though. The only one I could really see within the main hall where I suppose his leader is, wore a strange mask and very obviously magical robes of sorts or some spell. He commanded quite a bit of magic. In a straight-up fight, he could not stand up to many blows, it seems, but when it comes to his prowess in magic, from what I saw, it may be comparable to any one of your own, in Luna's or Samantha's. Maybe a little weaker, but it would be hard to tell who would win if luck was involved. I can only assume, from what Luna said, the others within that hall, the large armored man, the trickster, the strange robed one, and the leader, may be of the same fashion. Close to a match of our own.
I feel like ultimately we're going to end up in a fight with Mortricane in some way. But I think the rest of the guards can possibly be convinced otherwise. They're just doing this for money or opportunity. We could give them a better opportunity, I don't know.
It's Persephone looks at Samantha. The thing, the dinner. The dinner in Cradlekeep, the one that we had. Remember what I was... Money is temporary. Money buys temporary loyalty. Exactly what Luna is saying. If we figure out what Kane is offering them, we can make them a bigger offer and turn them to our side for the moment.
How are we going to do that? Just calling out to them in the middle of the room.
That's a good point.
Look, I will set the doctrine for this, and it is as follows. If they make it out of this alive, they'll be turned over to the gods. Not Mordred and his little masked, feathered puppet. Tamakon, you're best able, maybe perhaps also Swift Hollow, to incapacitate these idiots without killing them. I would ask that you do so where you can. My magic has no such flexibility, nor will I exercise it. I will strike down those I deem worthy of striking down. This will not end without bloodshed. But we will do our best to make sure the hostages, as best we can, do not die. Of course, our priority continues to be Jody, then the kobolds, then the gods. Tamakon, it seems like you are the one that is the exception, and I have an idea. It is risky, it is time sensitive, but you are quick on your feet and potent enough in a fight. I cannot combine it with illusion magic though, so we will still need perhaps that dryad. Tamarcon and Swift Hollow are going to be in charge of retrieving the hostages. You two cannot separate from each other for this to work. We will enter into the main hall, give audience to Mordred, and try to buy time for you to get people out, starting hopefully with the northeast corner, getting those, I believe it was 2 of them, taken care of, and get them out of the guild hall quietly. The large room full of guards is going to be a tougher matter, but if this goes according to my plan, you should be able to do it without too much trouble. If you can keep the guards with you. If they get away from you, it will not work.
Any plans on how to get the hostages out? Are we digging a hole under the gate?
It looked like the hole Thrinderball dug was still there. Thrinderball, you're going to work on trying to get a little bit wider on the latter half of the hole. I don't want you going all the way in and getting discovered. Just halfway, make it bigger, so people can get out.
That's like another. Is that like another gate right there?
Is who?
This right here? Or what is this?
It looks like it would be like a place. It would be another gate, but instead it's sort of like a bit of a. It's a, what do you call it? Not a parapet, like a little station where archers might be. Little basket. I don't know what you call it.
Okay.
So it's like 10 feet up or so off the ground or something?
Yeah, off the wall itself. There's like a ladder leading up to it. In case there's attackers on one side, they can actually have people with like a line of.
Oh, so it's on top. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah,
on top of the wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. My brain farted on me. That one. That was dumb.
That's okay. That's okay.
No shit, it's on the wall.
So how are we gonna fight our way out of this, Samantha, if I cannot wear armor or have weapons?
That is the other rub. I do not
thinking-
intend on allowing them to kill us. That cannot come to pass. You are the shield of Zamaria, and I need you in tip-top form based on what it is we're seeing. We cannot take that risk. Your talents with your sword may allow you to retrieve it if it is not on you, if I'm not mistaken.
I could put it in my backpack and call it when I would need.
Could you even give it to them and call it nonetheless?
As long as it is close.
Good.
Something
You
I
can
was
make a
thinking.
show of good faith. You can come in your arms and armor and hand over your weapons to them. Perhaps that will be just enough of a ruse so that I do not have to watch you be filled with arrows and blades. You're not quick on your feet. I can see something threatening to burst out of your mouth, Persephone. What is it?
I was just going to say, in the theatrics of submission, we could bring our weapons and our foci in there with us, as if we're going to give it to them. It would be within reach, or
might
at
be a
least within
stretch.
sight.
That might be a stretch. Admittedly. Because if I were in their position, I would still be wary about letting your foci be within, even if it's without arm's reach, a movement's distance.
Handing it over is perhaps more reassuring than simply stowing it away somewhere they cannot see. If I simply put it in my bag of holding, I can get it quite quickly. Though I do not need it for what I intend on doing. Thankfully enough.
And I can take some time to meditate and, worst case scenario, figure out a spell set where I don't need my crystal. And I have some magic that might be able to help with protecting you in terms of armor, Coldor. I don't know how well it would do compared to you having actual armor, but it's a better opportunity than nothing. If a fight breaks out, I wouldn't need my dryad to stay around.
I'm going to wear my armor. If they have a beef about it, I will tell them that a knight does not relinquish his armor. They cannot respect that. They can try to strike me down where I stand.
Well, it's not, Quillor. It's not about striking you down. It's about striking down the hostages to punish us. Are you willing to risk that?
Yes.
Oh, that was part
I
of my
want this
idea.
day to end perfectly. But I have learned that it often does not. And I am not going to have Quildor die for the sake of some guards.
I'm not
I will
talking about
make
the
that hard
guards.
choice.
I'm talking about Jody and the kobolds. Who is the first person you think they will strike down if we do one thing wrong?
Most likely
Last
Jody.
time Luna checked, Jody was within Morgan's reach.
As long as I can get within 60 feet of Jody, she's safe.
I have fought many of Orcan kind. They seem to be quite resilient to a blade.
Jody
Just
looks
in case
pretty.
patrol. Oh, those are still in here.
Still sneaking inside.
Yeah, she still
Get out of the
herself in here
building.
because
Just there the entire time.
no, if I'm out there, then the dog smells me.
I need you to come back out for this to work, you dummy.
Anyways,
We need to look at you to disguise the Dryad as you.
yes, I'll be there.
I mean, but do you
idea
really though?
was-
Can't you just
Yes!
like make the thing like? Why do you need her? Just make the movie again, and then
Also,
boom,
Twitch
she's
Follow,
right
we
there.
have like 10
Yeah.
We're
minutes
not doing
left
an
and we
illusion.
can't talk to you anymore. Our mind link only lasts an hour. It's about to run out here. We need to actually get back together to be able to talk.
Mm-hmm. What are you
Dang.
doing, Sotalo? What are you looking for?
Oh.
What are you doing?
And she starts, as the entire conversation is going on, she starts making her way out. Because I'm exfiltrating with my con, my idea was they were to call an order to kill the guards. How can they kill the guards if there's none of their minions alive to hear the order? But nonetheless,
If you're
I'm already
doing
making my way out now.
what you need to, those orders will never reach their ears. Nothing will. I am not only a disciple of Medusa, the Serpent Empress, but also her creator, the keeper of secrets, the whisper that should never be heard, the moonlight that dances across the sky.
What was that about? Plans are never perfect. As
No.
she's walking out the blind now.
But I can keep it so that no sound will reach you. No sound will leave you. You will have to travel together, but you will travel together in silence.
Okay.
As, fun little pack spell I have, is silence.
Point. I think it's
So-
a point you choose, not a person.
Can't
You
stick
can't
it
put it
on.
on
You can't
something.
stack it on people?
No,
The
it's
move,
not like
the
an
weave does not
object.
move with silence. That's why it's
It's
bad.
an area.
That's why
Yep.
no one likes it.
Yep.
Rip.
Yeah, that's your. I
static
throw it in
on
the
the
spot
weave.
and it becomes quiet. It's not. I
That's
put
super
the silence
fun.
button in your pocket.
That's what my, for the record, in the homebrew combat, that was my silence change. You can cast it on an object. It moves now. That was it. Remember when we did that homebrew combat? Anyways,
You'd have to raise it at least to one level spell.
We know Jody pretty well. What does she not like?
What does she not like?
Yeah, what's an item distasteful to her?
Like, there's a lot of things Jody doesn't like. You need to be more
Just-
specific.
Just
Birds
any,
that talk like Persephone.
just an item that I can just quickly get my hands on. Something probably even at the hall in Horus, something that she doesn't like, but probably needs in the not
Something she-
needs, but like not, she doesn't really need it, but like something she doesn't like that I could just get my hands on.
Oh, pineapple on a pizza, obviously.
She definitely doesn't like goblins, but I think if there's anything she doesn't like, she apparently really doesn't like copper coins. She does not keep them around at all. She doesn't like empty bottles, empty flasks. God, there's so much.
Oh, copper coins is fine. I have plenty of copper coins. That's all I need.
Okay. I was trying to think, just immediately open my mind like, God, there's so much she doesn't like. What's one thing defining of her?
People,
An empty,
animals,
like
places.
an empty palm, hand trying to pay her with less money than copper coins is the best one. Who uses copper?
If the problem is weapons or the equipment or things, maybe not armor of sorts, but we could have Swift Hollow plant them beforehand.
Maybe. But if it's armor, it would take time to put on. How
Yep,
would
not
we accomplish
armor.
that? Okay.
I could still cast the silence all in the different rooms, though, right?
Yeah. You can throw out a spell slot and cast thing. Go up to the room, look at it, point
Because
at
it's
it.
like the only way I can think of that you guys can fucking go into this room and potentially have to fight two guys and no one hear you.
We're
I killed
real
them really
sneaky.
fast.
We hit them real quick. I got Stunning Strike.
Yeah.
I have Assassinate.
Trust Swift Hollow.
You can always try to kill something quietly if you roll a good stealth check with it.
I'm very good at that too.
Unless you use Thunder Wave, you know.
But that's just assuming, like, you know, like everything hits, saves are failed, and no one lives past one round, right?
Yep. Part of the
There's
gamble.
a room of 3 guys.
Part of the gamble.
From what I have seen,
No, fuck no. I was never thinking about fucking with those three guys. Those guys are fucked. There's only one entrance in, or
There's
the
4
windows. How do you
windows.
get through windows? Yeah, how do you get through the windows? What are we?
it's fine. We will
Wait, does it
find a
move
way.
up? I thought it was
Yeah.
like a full glass pane. Man, these windows suck.
I think
Someone should have said that.
the important thing is we get inside, we get like close enough within Jody's reach, not reach, but within 60 feet of Jody while we're talking. Swift Hollow and Tamarcon go into this room, kill these guys, so they can get these guards and the kobolds out. And then if they get caught, I can manage Jody.
Yeah, like the sort of reasonable best case scenario, we get these fuckers out in the bottom right first because they're easy peasy. We can get them out. I can get them out in like 2 seconds, and nobody will fucking know. These guys we get out next while you guys are talking to them, and then when shit hits the fan, you guys can get the fuck Jody out, and Swift Hollow and I can make our way into this room and make sure these fuckers don't die. If they do get stabbed, I can heal them, and me and Swift Hollow can kill these 3 fucking dudes. That's fine.
Swithhollow can probably, if we can make it in time, Swithhollow can probably assassinate the big guy too.
Yeah, it's basically
not like assassin. These guys are probably beady, so I don't mean like assassinate as in kill. I mean assassinate TM.
like it'll basically be the hard part is the 4 of you guys will be facing off, you know, about like their 5 good dudes. Kildor will be at a pretty big disadvantage, and you guys will just need to do well, need to fight good, and we'll come to back you up, but we'll probably be like a round or 2 short.
We'll be
like,
a round or 2 late, depending on how hard a cleanup needs to be.
Yeah,
because Swithhollow has assassinate on her first round, and then she has advantage on her second because she crit last round.
And it's literally to the point where it's like the more time you buy us, the more of these like random fucks around the map we can just take the fuck out.
Oh yeah, like these isolated guys, like this guy, I was like, oh, I could kill you so easily. It'd be so
Best case scenario is you guys buy us so much fucking time, and we do so well, they go, fuck this shit, guards, and nobody comes. And then this
then
guy's
we get to
like,
walk out with a
fuck
with a
this
bunch
shit,
of
I'm
heads.
out.
Yeah, Tomoicon gets. We get to be like, oh, you mean these guys?
Do we plan to get the kobolds out before we go to talk? Nobody seems to
Can
know
you
they're there, right?
speak through your little doll, Luna?
No, I can cast spells through it, but it can't through it.
I can send an animal messenger.
You can command it to do stuff like draw or write or point.
Honestly, I would love to just get a message to them. They're holed up in a room off to their own, not really bothering anyone. We can leave them there if they know that we're busy dealing with everything else, to be honest.
Yeah, no one seems to even know us are there.
Those 3 little guys, I can literally hop in, throw them all into a bag, hop back over the walls, and it's like they were never there.
Hopefully they know to not try to breathe and hold their breaths while in there, because there's no air in those vents.
I mean, they'd only be in there for 30 seconds.
some
You
air.
can't die underwater in 30 seconds.
Physically impossible.
I mean, yeah, you can, but yeah.
Rules as originally speaking.
Uh-huh. Alright. So what's the plan, guys?
And what kind of windows are they? Are they openable or are they the big pane?
Yeah, look, you can open them. There is a point to slide them. These are nice noble-made windows. You spent good money on these things.
Yep.
We
They're
can
not just
open them
closed in the
Good thing that
wall.
they're
because we're
still
rich
intact.
enough.
Yeah.
I think the point of contention is if Quildor is wearing his armor.
He's wearing his armor.
I'm
I think
wearing my armor.
I think Quilder has the best chance of convincing them. They know he is a knight. They know it's honor or whatever he talks about, and I feel
To be
like
honest, I
he would
don't think he owns
Sorry.
other clothes anyway. To be completely honest.
Quildor is very poor. This is all he owns. You want him butt-ass naked?
Okay,
Spend too much money on it.
that's fair. Nobody ever sees Coldor without his armor, ever. Even when we're relaxing.
I feel like it would
Ever.
be a
Except that
good
one time you swam together.
Isn't that uncomfortable?
No, it's relatively very comfortable. When you have the greatest
But
smith
the-
in the world make you armor, it's very comfortable.
Breathes
But the
very
rest
well.
of us, no armor then.
I don't want to die. I'm wearing my armor.
Fortunately, my armor is actually in the guild hall, so I don't have anything.
I'm not going in with my armor either.
There you go, but it's funny.
No, you're simply risking your life for what reason exactly?
So they don't kill our friends to make an example of us, Samantha. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about saving our friends while we talk to them. Jody will be right there. The moment we show up with armor, how are we supposed to pretend that we're not expecting to fight? They want us to go in there with no intention of fighting. How do we show that if we show up in armor? If you can explain that to me, then I'm willing to buy into it, but I don't see how. And I have magic that can boost
I'm
my
a
defenses
knight.
as
Knights
well.
always wear armor.
Excellent. Would you like to be next to Paracelsus or should we return you home?
Would you like my armor? I don't plan on getting in direct combat.
Samantha, that wasn't fair.
Thank you,
Life
Sir
isn't
Carlo.
fucking fair.
As Swifthollow is heading back, she's also casting Minor Illusion and practicing her Hell's Hydra guard voice. Getting it down. Hello,
So,
brother.
So,
Hello,
Tyler,
brother.
you and me
Hello, brother.
just came up
Hello,
with a
brother.
game plan, yes? It is going to be fun.
We've done it before. As long as you don't pull any marbles. Again.
No, of course not.
I would hope not.
So I was thinking we start on the roof. Take out
I
all
mean,
four
we had
corners at once.
some amount of synergy on that mountain.
I think we will do wonderful together.
See why we can't do it again.
so ultimately, we go and Quilder makes his show of being the knight, relinquishing his sword. We start talking, figure out what the fuck they want from us, because I didn't even get that from them. Apparently, he made some deal with something. I feel like it might be connected to whatever the other mage guy is or does. And while they're doing that, Swatala and Tamarkan do whatever they're doing. Buy them as much time, make small talk or something.
If he's taking orders from someone else and killing them is risky. Because that means whoever wanted to do this to us isn't going to stop if they're dead. If we can afford it, let's try to get that information.
Can you still force it out of them after your seance, Luna?
Say that last sentence one more time before seance.
Can you still force it out of them?
Like, dominating their minds, yeah, I can still do that.
Yes.
I can help with that.
Go Team Break.
As you guys find yourselves back in the courtyard, having discussed your plan, the magic, holding your collective thoughts together in this sort of pool of ideas, as some of them seem to be clashing quite harshly together. Eventually subsiding, the magic on at least two of you now fading away, giving way to your appearance as you re-enter the courtyard. As it sounds like you guys have a plan, right? Let's go through this one more time so everyone's on the same page.
Summon
guys
up
doing?
dryads, disguise them as Swift Hollow. Go as a group to the main entrance, appear to be surrendering, hand over whatever weapons or, show of good faith, all of our garbage. Make small talk. Meanwhile, Tamara Khan and Swift Hollow go around killing guards and freeing hostages for as long and as quietly as they can.
Who said we were
knocking out guards. That's right. I did ask you to knock them the fuck out. Because I said both of you should be able to knock people out. And
Oh, I won't be able to do that in the original, though. Oh no.
you want me to do what?
How much are boxing glove arrows?
What are you, Green Arrow now?
How much is
I mean,
how much
Clyde's
is
got about
non-lethal
40 of
poison?
them in his.
Can we-
in
How
his
do I
quiver.
how do I do 40? How do I do 44 but it doesn't kill them?
Dagger.
You say
pop
you're
'em
striking non-lethally,
fucking
and
go-
then therefore they don't
With
die.
poison.
That is how the rules work.
Dagger.
Oh, okay. I
You're
have
making an attack with a
declared, I
melee
thus
weapon.
declare, even though he failed his DC 18 con save, and is probably dying to the poison, it's not lethal. It's okay.
He's just
Yeah,
unconscious.
maybe it's special poison. It just puts him in
It's
a
my
medical
special
induced
poison.
coma.
That is definitely a
Yeah,
point.
that's how we'll write it off.
I will not say that it will be impossible to cause no death. It will be much easier if there are some casualties among the enemy forces.
Yes, this Sotolo
Well,
puts
like
a
I
hand
said,
on
I
your
can't-
shoulder to my
I
con.
can't hold my magic back, and I don't intend to.
Do whatever is necessary. Make sure our friends
Sotolo
are
just gives you a
safe.
side-eyed glance. The mountain.
There are easy and quick ways, harder and slower ways, but still possible. We'll see what we can do.
I'll try. But, again, I value the mission above all else.
Should you connect with Clyde and have him give you a bit of air cover?
Hopefully he can spot us, but how will we communicate with him?
Together with the magic, yes?
We'll need to refresh that bond shortly anyway, right? We can perhaps just bring him and maybe Gregory?
That's the problem I was talking about, though. My bow and arrow would be very useful, but it's very hard to knock someone unconscious with a very sharp stick that you are launching at them very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just knock out the ones you can.
Okay. Well, yes, that would be very useful. If he wants to 5 vantage points around. It would be quite some distance, but we'll figure it out. So yes, go in, small talk. Setolo and I will do the best we can to clear out as much, continue communicating, and yes, right?
I think the weird feathered caster or whatever, he is perhaps even more dangerous than Mordred, but I would like to take them both alive if possible.
Agreed.
Hopefully one can turn on the other.
Certainly. Swift death is too good for them.
Fair enough.
Now you're reading my mind, and I thought the magic was over.
Gruesome.
Does anyone need to do anything for the next 3 hours before we go in? Or...
We probably need to make sure what we have to costume the dryad is going to be accurate. I don't get to control what they look like. They just merge into our plane. So
I
we
have a
might
spare
need...
set of clothing. I keep
Okay.
multiple sets.
So,
You
you
have-
prepare the things a bit beforehand. Easy enough.
Do we have a wig?
Do something together. Get some white horsehair.
There's a festival going on.
There is a festival going on.
How do you
Oh
not
boy,
have
we can
multiple
do some
wigs?
clothes shopping. Ooh, Swift Hollow can go pick
You're
out a
part of
new
the Valiant
outfit.
Vanguard, so we're gonna go to the cosplay shop and get the latest Swift
All
Hollow
right.
To the-
cosplay.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
is
And
an
it creeps Swift Hollow the fuck
What, we
out.
just-
It's
we
like,
just cosplay. What?
Oh.
I'm Swift Hollow. No, I'm Swift Hollow. I'm Swift Hollow
We just
Kiss.
Spartacus
No, I'm
them.
Swift Hollow Kiss.
I think it is time for me to have a very rambunctious party.
While we're looking for disguises, if I do see Bram, I'm going to tell him to stay as far away from the guild hall as possible.
Oh yeah. After some time, he'd probably be looking for you, going back to the mayor's house. See you guys are all gone. Go back to the Fallen Horse if you guys are reconvening there for the next couple hours. He'd catch on and go take his mom to safety just in case. But yeah, you guys want to go spend some time gathering supplies, set up for disguises, and go through that. Shouldn't cost you anything more than like just a couple of silver pieces for just like if you're looking for like a wig or something to wear. There are definitely costumes people are wearing for like dances or excitement. There are not some made for the Valiant Vanguard, but there are definitely some strangely similar themed outfits or adornments. It seemed that someone had been very certain to make the brand of the Valiant Vanguard become known and worn. You can see some people wearing these like crossed V's on tunics or like some sewn as badges. And yeah, seems like some armor has been dyed dark. Seems like some people are selling and buying like axes and daggers. And even at one point, someone was trying to sell like a staff or a sickle. Like some items are becoming a bit more popular. But yeah, easily enough able to find a wig for like handful of silver. All the stuff you would need to make a disguise.
Get a bunch of makeup. That's not really that much.
All right.
But how does this work?
Question: when my Stone of Reserve is like out of my range, does it unattune?
Only if it's been outside of your range for I think like 24 hours. I think that's how attunement works. If it's away from you for like a day, the magic starts to subside. Otherwise, it's still yours. It's just out of reach. Okay.
And can I have someone that's not attuned to it put magic in it?
They certainly can. That's the point of the item. It's a beautiful power. It's whoever's attuned to it can use any of the spells stored inside of it, no matter who stored it inside of it.
I don't think so, but I hope we're on the same page here.
Hmm.
I don't know.
We
I'm
are.
piecing together a plan. So
My metagamey plan of Tamar not knowing how your shit works is give me some silence spell.
oh, true. That would work.
True.
Put silence in the Stone of Reserve.
Put
And then
Yeah. And then we give it to Tamar Khan.
either
The
one of us.
Stone of Reserve cannot contain my magic. It's much too powerful.
Oh God.
But you are attuned to nature. Perhaps there is some other trick you can force into there. If not the same magic. The
I'll have to
Lord of
meditate on
Secrets has a connection to beasts.
I think you have enough time to switch your spells.
You said I do or I don't.
I don't think you
Do not.
It's gotta be
Do
a
not.
long rest.
Even if I didn't switch them over for the day, I can't
Yep.
like. Oh fuck.
You basically started your day, you're out doing stuff. It takes like your little time after a long rest or ritual time to switch. It's not like you get one switch a day. It's just when you start your new day. You're in festival mode right now.
Yeah,
Waking up process.
I wonder if you actually
Get up
had
and
to
go,
prepare
and you're
first
like,
thing in the
all right,
morning.
I'm not in prep time anymore. I can't go back and change shit anymore.
You like don't prepare any of your spells at the start of the day. You just don't have any spells, and you could prepare it. I wonder.
Probably not. But yeah. Okay, so what are you guys up to then? You guys are summoning dryads, you guys are getting disguises.
Yeah, we gotta get the
I-
disguise merch. What's your party rambunctious nonsense?
I'm going out and finding my party buddies that I was supposed to be meeting about now or about an hour ago, and I'm gonna get the fucking festivities started. Talk to Bea. About a street over from where we are, from the guild house. And I'm gonna fucking burn that shit into mayhem. I want to be as
Who in
loud
here
as
wants to start a riot?
I want, when we are in here, I want the streets to be fucking people screaming at each other because they're so drunk and crazy. So,
you're
and
gonna
we
start Mardi Gras outside.
That sounds like a perfect job for Javen to help with.
Get the
get Javen to help. Be like,
Hey,
Javen,
yeah, you
I
can't
need
Now-
call
now-
upon Javen to
party
do that.
started and
That's a
keep
plan.
going into the night.
yo, get the elephants involved so they can stomp and make elephant noises.
Exactly. I'm doing everything
There you
I
go.
can.
That's a
so
plan that
this thing
Javen's
goes
down
until,
for.
like 2 o'clock in the morning, because I want this shit to be loud as fuck.
You want us to get a noise complaint tomorrow?
Exactly.
Like,
Dude,
you guys
Javen's been
can't do
getting
this
noise
again.
complaints this entire festival, and it's not even at
Yeah.
night.
I
Yeah, he
want
wants
the
the Karen
moment in
tents
the
to
spy
explode.
movie where the guy fucking sees the flash of lightning and goes, wait for it. When the thunder hits, except the thunder is elephants trumpeting.
Right. I'm gonna say Bea would be very apprehensive about that plan because it's essentially bringing a bunch of potential casualties if a fight breaks out right in front of the guild hall. So what
Not the
is
street out, not right
like,
in
but-
front of it.
but like near it to the point where there are people. But the question I'm gonna ask you is, explain to her what is your purpose of this? I know the purpose, but what does Tamar Khan say the purpose is? Just to
Yes.
distract them?
If their purpose is to keep everything hush hush, as it were, if everything wants to be quiet, if everything that is going to go on inside these walls is to kept to itself, well, why not have everything else be oh so loud? So that when things do happen, when a shout rings out, when some glass shatters, who can tell the difference? Just someone else having fun.
It might just work. Bea would allow it. She'd pull back some of her men, sort of clear the area just enough so that, fine, there could be a party going on. There will be some people keeping watch just to make sure if something does go wrong, there's someone there to act. Very apprehensive about it, but
Yeah, we'll
seems like she's
we'll
allowing it.
reposition Gregory there too as like the more
If something does
insurance.
get out of hand, then
He
the
can get in
former
front of
Valiant
it.
Vanguards can spring into action to make sure nobody
Yeah.
gets hurt.
there you go.
We'll put the three of them there as part of the vanguard, the vanguard.
And there's the pitch. Perfect. With that in mind, former Valiant Vanguard there, heroic adventurers there to spring to action if something goes wrong. Totally fine with it. Just again, apprehensive as fuck. Be careful. Good stuff. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay.
So now you need to get elephant noises and Mardi Gras party music to play underneath the entire.
I got time, baby. So the rest of you, get your disguise kits. Or anything else you guys are doing? Otherwise, we're gonna start moving on to the
I
dryads.
continue roasting Persephone.
Well, I probably don't go to do the disguise kits because I have plants at home that I want to check on and see if I can get a couple of useful tools. Most notably, I've been growing a tangleroot tree in my room, and I want to see if I can collect some seeds.
Just yeet the whole tree into the guild hall.
It looks like it still has some ways to go, but with the use of your plant growth and magic, it has basically increased its rate exponentially. It's only been a number of months, but it looks like it's gone into its first year. You could definitely see there's at least a couple of seeds. It's still like in that between sapling and reaching adolescent state.
Have druid craft, and as
You
long as
certainly
there
do.
are some seeds, I'm going to make sure these are harvestable.
You certainly do. As you can pluck those off, and with a bit of magic coursing through them, just a little nugget of life energy, the seed sort of cracks a little bit and pops as you have these tiny little star-shaped pods. Only 2 of them, though. Good shit. Look at you. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, my home garden is what it's for.
A war garden. All right. There's nothing else, though. We'll proceed on to summoning the good old dryads.
Well, I do want to
before
follow of what our attack plan is, so we're on the same page going in here. But I'm assuming we'll probably do that between sessions.
Yes.
Oh no, we're going straight into combat tonight,
I
guys.
need
We're
it.
going till 3 a.m.
I need to equip Swift Hollow's armor.
Okay.
Yeah, as doing the cosplays with Hollow, fighting Persephone a couple hours before, this does need attunement. As she, thankfully enough, with the cosplay, she's able to get a spare set of dark clothing. Wow. How convenient.
What kind of armor is this exactly?
Studded leather. It will protect the important parts. Reinforced.
Studded with
For the most
what?
part, there should be some measure of protection.
Seems like it's studded with these like close-set steel rivets, but there's like a padding between it and the leather that touches you.
Persephone like looks at it a little cautiously. This should be fine. This should be fine.
If you're apprehensive about the metal, I'm sure you could just wear another set of clothing underneath it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's gotten worse over the year, but it should still be fine.
Yeah. Twithalla just puts a hand on your head. Be safe, little light.
Persephone reaches up and puts the hand over yours.
And Swift Hollow, if you can't knock out those guards, I trust you to do what you do best.
Oh, that's my secret. Little light. Wasn't planning to.
The secret I've always been doing my best.
Be safe, Swifty.
Twithalla's enjoying her night. Yes, human blood.
That's your new best friend, Persephone. All right. As time will
I'm a
pass,
murderer.
eventually you will use your spell, summon. Show me what you do. Summon in what? Dryads, 1 dryad, 2 dryad, 3 dryad?
A pile of dryads.
A pilad of drylads?
Pilad of dryads. Persephone is going to go.
Persephone is just going to go up to the tree behind the fallen horse and hold on to her crystal as she connects to this plane of life that she's become very familiar and connected to. My friends in the Fae, I require a daughter of the trees. Give me a sister to help us with this.
As I cast Conjure Woodland Beings, and I am asking for 1 creature of a CR1.
One sec. Ba. Monster. Nope, not you. See what I take a peek at this thingy. Cool.
Part writer on my abomination. I don't have it on Tamar.
As the air begins to shimmer, there's a sort of like similar sensation that you, Samantha, and Luna, I guess basically almost everyone, probably but Swift Hollow and Cooler would feel that tingling sensation when the world begins to bend and open. As suddenly, like within a swirl of like looks foliage on the ground, leaves from one of the surrounding trees, pull together in this small little quiet whirlwind until it like manifests, shapes itself like a vase being formed from the clay on a spinning dial, until it takes on this like very graceful hourglass form, and then the leaves sort of subside, and you find yourselves joined by this fair skin, almost like her skin is covered in this like light layer of grass running up her body before running down as a long mane. It looks to be like down to her shoulders of the similar grass. Like her whole body's made of like thin filament-like grass as you summon forth a wonderful little dryad. Oh, hello there, friend. I don't
Hi.
believe we've met before.
No,
What is your
I'm,
name?
I'm Persephone.
What a lovely name. I am Ibradina.
Me, Verdina. Well, for the next hour, you're going to be Swift Hollow.
So, a game we're playing.
Yes, we are going to play a game of pretend. And the goal is to trick the other players that are not on our team into believing you are our friend Swift Hollow. I'll introduce you to her.
That sounds wonderful. I'm very good at games.
I'm going to bring her into the fallen horse to meet Swift Hollow.
So we are going to put you in a costume, and we are going to try to make you look just like her.
I love the sound of that. Is there anything I'm supposed to do? Just keep quiet? Hide my secret?
Yes. Keep your secret.
And if I am caught, do I say I lose? Do we play another game?
if you're caught, you think you can convince the other team to not give away your secret? Because that's part of the fun. If they catch your secret, you still need to make sure that they keep it for you.
Ooh, I can be quite convincing. Very convincing. This sounds like a very fun game, Persephone. I can't wait to play. Alright, dress me up. And she'll like
Okay.
toss back her hair, and you can see like she's like exposes herself, and you realize, oh, right. Dryads, yep, okay. She's gonna need some clothes right now. As I guess Swift Hollow, Tamarcon, and Luna,
We just
one of
spin
you-
upon her.
as a montage happens, one of you could be your representative. Roll some advantage, as one of you guys are helping. Actually, let's do one of you advantage and then one of you normally. Whichever one of you three wants to do, two of you being the cast, one of you having to be in the main effort, being the advantage one of you being sort of a support, and the last one just sort of being there to help tie the loose ends.
Swift will be support.
Okay. Then who's the main
Alright.
cast? Who's our main debutante of this makeover?
What stat are we doing with this?
At it.
What stat are we doing with this?
For trying to make Swift Hollow, at least a clone of Swift Hollow, I would say essentially you are either making a deception check or a charisma check with your disguise kit.
Charisma. Maybe. Wisdom.
How are you using your wisdom?
My ability to take out details to make sure every detail is in every little place to make
Sure, you
everything
can-
match.
Then I would say for you, it would take a perception check or a disguise kit with wisdom.
All right, that's what both of those are on my sheet. All right, as yeah, with their help, whoever's doing the secondary one, I guess I'll do the main one. Every time I'm not quite sure, I'll obviously call upon a little guidance from
Yep,
Rapture.
there it is.
Help myself out a little bit, but I'm a little bit unsure of this skin color is quite right or not. As I'll do my disguise kit with advantage here.
I want to believe in you.
Hey. Roll that d4.
21.
Wait,
22. And Sotala, give me your support? Or are you just watching back, helping background? I guess you're mostly the model, so that's fine. I guess it'd be
I mean, I can help.
Luna. Sounds like, right?
Sure. I'll use my charisma.
Kotala just stands back and critiques the look.
Oh shit! Damn, girls. Holy shit! With the combined effort of Tamarcon sort of laying down the base foundation, getting most of the intricate details.
Yeah, Swift
Luna,
like points stuff out.
Sotala basically pointing out the very intricate details they may have missed with her incredibly high investigation. With Luna being able to apply
and
her own
infiltration expertise.
applying her own capability to sort of her own innate deception of sorts, her ability to like she's already gone through disguise once. She's worn different clothing, different hair. She's been a different person actually for a small time, so she's used to sort of this sort of thing. She applies her own sort of gentle feminine touch. Tamarcon's rough base is great, but it does need a gentle elven sort of gracefulness, which I suppose Luna offers. And yeah, with your pointing out, I'd say at the end of the day, you see this once plant-laden woman have her grassy hair sort of smoothed down with a wig hidden beneath, a once mane tied up within this massive hair. Her body almost head to toe covered in what looks to be this dark clothing, what one would expect of someone like Swift Hollow. And I would say it would take probably an eye as discerning as either Swift Hollow herself or maybe Luna or Persephone really gazing at this dryad to determine that it wasn't the elven ally you've come to know in these last few months.
Persephone, tell us what you think.
I've put my hands on the dryad's face. I think she's perfect.
That's really what I look like.
Yeah.
Do you think you look different?
No, I just don't look in the mirror often.
I think you look exactly like me. Is that good?
Yes. Okay, so you are Swift Hollow, part of the
Right.
Valiant Vanguard. We are
Part of the
adventurers, but
Valiant
you are the quiet one. You
quiet.
don't talk a lot. Yeah.
I don't talk a lot. I can do that.
All right, we
My role
are.
in the group is the easy one.
Oh,
I've
that's so
written-
pretty.
We don't have much time, yes? You said an hour? So we get going.
Were we giving them our foci? Are we gathering them up in a bundle to give it to them?
Are you?
Are we? I was planning to,
My focus
but I think it should be collective. Okay, so your focus in the guild hall. Mine's on my wrist. So I'm probably better off just giving it to them so it's nearby if I need it.
Can your little ghost friend just hide within a room adjacent to you with your things and then just pop through the wall with him, or can he not carry things through the wall?
I think you could carry things like he's holding it through walls.
It
No,
can't
that
go
would
through the wall with them, though. It is incorporeal. The items are not. Can't Danny
Yeah,
Phantom things through the wall.
it would say it is incorporeal, and anything it's carrying is also incorporeal, like some like etherealness or whatever the hell that spell is.
Like, it can try to grab you, but like
Gaseous
it can't,
form or whatever.
It can try to
That
pull you
makes
through the wall,
everything-
but like it's gonna go through the wall and you won't.
I do have this little thing. A little bag of holding. Quite a bit smaller than usual. Does not carry much, but enough for a sword, for a couple of spell focus. Maybe your little friend can simply carry these back. Stash it away in the room while you are having a conversation if it is invisible. Or maybe one of you can simply stash it on your body. If Skulldor is wearing his armor, maybe just shove it down with him.
I think perhaps as part of our ruse, as it were, if we can hand things over, we might. I guess
Why not
as
bring a second? Another
do not
focus?
have a second. I'd have to
I
go
don't have another
acquire
one
one.
either.
Would you not
Uh,
pluck one simply for yourself, Persephone?
Not all of the magic is going to use the same kind of natural materials to cast it from. That's why rather than me plucking flowers off my arm or out of my hair, the crystal has been more convenient. But not all of my magic would require that. At least the magic I have today, I might be able to some use with. Not like I can do much as long as I have a Swift Hollow, wink, with us.
Can you heal
If
us with
Winter's
what is-
around, we could, assuming we had this conversation before we were literally heading our way there, we could ask some other adventurers if they have some spellcasting focus.
I feel like that we would hide on our person.
Tuck it in a boot? Or
Could
again,
almost definitely
a bit
try
of
to search us.
invisibility. Just giving suggestions. And giving a backup plan, if you wish.
Are foci interchangeable that way? Can you just use somebody else's focus?
So certain classes in Dungeons and Dragons have access to multiple forms of focuses. Wizards can use stabs or wands or crystals or orbs. Druids can use like stabs themselves as well, like wooden wands, like sprigs of mistletoes and the like. There's very specific things that they can interchange just to replace the specific material component. You could probably find some in town. The shops might be closing at this hour, but you just want to go buy some extra ones. It'd be a big rush, but you could. You can find some other adventurers. Probably not super keen on parting with some of them. Druid focuses are very cheap, apparently. Most of them are just very holistic. Here's a stick. Here's a plant. Here's a yew wand. Cool. For some of them, it's like, here is my pearl crystal. Here is my opal. This opal's kind of expensive.
I would give you mine, but I feel like I might be needing it with all the shenanigans me and Swift Hollow are going to be getting up to.
Well, I wish we had this conversation before I brought my friend over because our clock is ticking, so I don't think I have time to go find somebody to get a twig from.
I mean, I'm assuming we had this conversation.
Oh, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Got it.
A lot of retrospective conversations, guys.
A lot of retrospective
A
conversations.
lot of
That makes
stuff
sense.
of like,
a lot of, you know,
our
now that I
characters
think
have
about
4
it.
hours, and you know they're smarter than us.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Yeah. In that case, I don't know any other nature-bound adventurers, but could it be that the Heartwood Sanctum might have something for me?
Yeah,
I
sure.
think I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna see if I could a favor from them. If I could borrow something sacred to Sylvanas or plans that she has that night. It would be very important to her.
Sure. Again, they have lots of various little things. They're most of them plant based. They do have like small sprigs of mistletoe they were normally saving for the great like butterfly telling was it the Monarch Festival story. They'd be willing to spare with some if you're looking for something. I'm assuming you're looking for something discreet.
Yeah, well, the mistletoe
Stabs
might
and
work.
yeah,
The
stabs
mistletoe
and
would
wands are
probably
like a little more obvious.
The
but, like,
biggest staff you've got.
I helped open the Monarch Festival. A sprig of mistletoe would be perfect. I can have it in my hair.
Well, there you go. Perfect. They'd be willing
My
to part
crown
with
of
it pretty easily.
flowers.
Yeah.
There we go. As I tuck the mistletoe in my crown
Well,
of
there you go.
flowers.
Okay. Unless there's anything else you guys are doing during this time.
I
Yeah,
leave my stone of reserve in my room because I can't think of anything to put into it because I already have spell slots I'm using anyways. Or I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Unless there's nothing else. Going once.
I plan on handing over my scepter as a component of the ruse.
Sure.
Yep. I attune to the armor that Swift Hollow has loaned me, and I make sure to change it to something that's more suited to what Persephone would look like. And even though it's bulky, I have a butterfly cloak, so hopefully that covers most of it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, you get to pick the new command word because you're attuned to it.
Yeah.
Because I can still cast anything that doesn't have a material component, right?
Absolutely. With
Yeah.
your hands in your mouth.
That's the idea.
I got plenty of that.
All right.
That's what the fellow can like wiggle her fingers.
Shortly before we actually arrive, the only thing I do need to cast is a grand old favorite.
Murder.
Armor of Agathis.
Oh, Quildor. Oh, you're handing over your sword. Never mind.
Yes.
Okay.
As Swift Hollow will also create shark skins and ring razor. Oh, no. Shark skin and weapon black. 1 vial.
Okay. I would say it would be pretty obvious you're wearing this defensive magic. It might give an impression. If you're okay with doing that, that's okay. You're wearing a layer of spectral frost that covers you and your gear. You're walking in covered in magic defenses.
Well, Switchall's not walking in.
No, I'm saying Samantha.
No,
Samantha.
but
Okay. Oh,
Armor
Armor of Agathis. I thought you were talking about the shark skin thing. I was like,
No,
I don't know what
yeah,
that is, but
Nope.
No, I can just keep that in the
Okay.
bag until it's ready.
gotcha.
Until we're ready to, in case I need to scale walls. Because I'm not proficient.
Okay. Unless there's anything else you guys want to prep? Going once?
One more telepathic bond. That's it.
What was that?
One more telepathic bond.
Oh, sure, yeah. Making sure before you guys leave, using a few 10 minutes or so to basically reach out your magic after you've successfully disguised the Dryad. You guys would make your way over towards...
We might have to do some retroactive planning when me and Swift Hollow actually go over our plan. If we
Oh, yeah.
find
Yeah,
out
Swift
we
Hollow
need
gives you the
rope
weapon
or
block.
something. But
Swift Hollow gives you the weapon like cover your arrows with it when you're ready to fire.
oh, interesting. I'm definitely.
As you guys would approach the walls, as the plan here to...
Khan and Swift Hollow would be making an early entrance, quiet and getting a head start. We would be coming in. Basically, they'd be giving us like feedback on how what they're doing is going, and when it seems like the right moment, we would make our approach with our gaggle of 5, probably giving them a I don't know, 2-minute head start.
Okay, so
At the
considerably
most.
close behind them. Let's see.
They'd tuck off to the side to find a place to enter in, and we would sort of post up like nearby, but like out of sight, and just wait to sort of make our grand approach.
Sure. What side are you guys approaching at? What do you guys get? What's your approach here? 'Cause I'm trying to end at a certain point. What's your approach to get in?
We would come in just to the front door.
Sure, by like the sneaky people who are heading ahead of time.
If you cast jump on me, I get 9 times my jump speed.
My current plan is if you're looking at the map, the southeast corner where the kobolds are in the little hut. But again, might change.
Sure.
I don't know what our actual plan is yet. That's my current plan, is to start there.
I look at my friend Swift Hollow, wink, and I tell her that it would be great if she can cast magic to make other Swift Hollow and Tamarcon extra sneaky today. If she has that capability. If Dryad
Does she have pass without a trace?
I don't think Dryad's
Swift
out.
Hollow have this power. I would hate to be cheating at this game.
Oh no, it's not cheating. It's a part of the game. See, that's the fun, is that there's going to be 2 of you. And they won't know which one's the real one.
Oh. Very well. This sounds very fun.
Yeah.
Alright, then. As she would reach over her hands towards Tamarcon and Swift Hollow once they get close. As magic was sort of trickle away, it looks like small, almost looks like mites of grass, like tiny little flickering, glowing, like almost looks like insects, but they're made of energy flying from her hands that sort of scatter and like latch to your body. A little disconcerting until they sort of just seem to fade away, and as they fade away, so too does parts of your form, as it almost looks like you guys become strangely translucent. Like almost you could see through your body, not fully invisible. And even then, the way your feet press down to the ground, the grass just sort of bends around them as you're protected by this nature magic. As it does seem that Swift Hollow number 2 is able to cast some Pass Without Trace on you guys.
Interesting.
Ooh, I had an idea.
I would
Since I've
usually do
used...
it. I would usually do it myself, but I need to focus on keeping Swift Hollow, wink, here with us for the game.
Wonderful.
Since I've used my my mask of many faces to change my outfit all the time, can I change it to hide my armor bag this?
You can. You'll definitely look at it and go, not wearing any weird magic thing.
I'll literally just replace what I'm wearing that has the armor of frost with what I'm wearing without the armor of frost.
Okay. And you said southeast side?
Yeah.
Okay, so the plan sounds like you guys are entering the wall and then the group shows up, or are you guys waiting there? It sounds like you're 2 different things right now.
Do we go in to talk before?
First.
So they're getting into the wall first before the group enters.
That was my...
I think.
Okay.
That way you guys have the most amount of time, because I don't know how long we can buy you actually talking.
Yeah, like that. Right. That might work with what I had an idea to start with, but not sure. Should be fine.
Yeah, is the front gate just open?
No. The front gate's still shut, but there are, again, a couple guards at the parapets keeping watch. People who have been circling around here seem like they've been looking for something they can't see. So if you guys approach the gates and get their attention, they would come down to you guys. All right, so coming in southeast side, you guys are entering first. You scaling the wall, time and hand over foot, jumping it.
I don't know, man. I'm on the plan yet.
There's no. You guys are still waiting on the plan. Okay, we can do that then.
Me and Swift all need to come up with our plan first. How we're gonna do this? Because like current plan is, I want to take out the corner guards first, pretty quick. But that needs to happen after everybody shows up. Because if people show up and they go, "Hey, the Valiant Vanguard here," where are our corner dudes? Then sort of fuck.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, then sounds like you would need to wait for us to go in first.
Possibly, yeah. Again, unless me and Swift Hollow come up with some other plan where it works out that you guys, or we do go ahead, which we might.
All right.
Yeah, I have concentration free as well, so I can give you guys some invisibility if you want that.
Alrighty, as you guys find yourselves eventually reaching the front gates of the guild hall. These 2 guards standing atop the parapets, looking down and noting your arrival, as you see them like raise up a spear, and one of them eventually comes down from the rafters and the doors would slowly open, giving way to let's see. There we are. A couple of guards stepping out from inside, each one standing before each of you with a questioning look. But what exactly will happen in this first and hopefully faultless confrontation? We'll have to see
Perfectly executed in every way, of course.
on the next episode of Song of Rapture. As it seems like the group has mostly, should by next session, have a plan of attack with a general scheme of what they will do. But it sounds like there is some discourse, some questioning, some uncertainty. But at the end of the day, they have one similar goal in mind. There are people inside of this guild hall that they need to try and save as many as possible. One of them being their ally, Jody. Will they be able to save her? Will they be able to save them? All this will be a testament to the skill of the Valiant Vanguard, the new Dragon Slayers of Mobia, the champion of the Roken Arena. Let's see if they'll live up to the hype. That's all I got for you today. A session of planning, it seems like. All right.
Yeah. I like it. Could you leave us on the map?
I possibly could. I will tell you, some time has passed and some placement of certain things have probably moved.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're going like, I'm gonna go after that guy in particular. Well, he's also just ruffling through some papers. I don't know if he's doing that for another hour or so.
Oh yeah. It's definitely like, I'm assuming these guys aren't gonna still be here 4 hours later.
Nope.
That's fine. Understood. Good shit. I'm excited.
Some interesting roleplay tonight too. Some dynamics, some twisting and pulling. How does the Vanguard stand up against tension? Apparently not particularly well.
Got snappy in there. Ooh.
Drama.
Friendship ended with Samantha. New friendship with Apollo.
Them elf girls, they like to stick together.
Kind of feel like we're regressing.
Or what?
Regressing.
Samantha is only mean because she cares.
Samantha plays rough because that's all she knows.
Exactly.
For better or for worse.
Oh, it's fun being snappy too. Like, you think Luna's the only one that can say something mean? I'm literally made out of venom. But that is all we have for you for Song of Rapture this wonderful Thursday evening. I certainly hope that you all have enjoyed hanging out with us and being a part of our little planning as we need to go in and rescue our friends and take back what is ours and put an end to the Hell's Hydra. This will be the last day that that organization continues to exist. And you certainly don't want to miss us putting an end to it, not next week, but the week after, next September the 3rd. Plenty of time to get the plan hashed out, plenty of time to make sure everything slots where it's supposed to. I know, pout all you want, but that's what's happening. As we'll be back on the 3rd, giving Omen more than enough time to plan our demise as well.
Hopefully enough time for you guys to make a plan.
A plan.
2 weeks
A
later.
real plan.
I don't know. I'm gonna shoot dudes.
Not to worry, I have Smith
We
Hall
have
as
a
a
room-by-room plan. We hit execute. It happens. What happened, God?
Ooh, D100 roll then.
Yeah, we rolled. We did an autocomplete for this encounter. What happened?
Yeah. Oh, I should have done that.
We kill everyone without getting caught. What do I roll for that?
Indeed. So be sure to tune in on the 3rd, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, to find out what happens. We have one more session of D&D this week with the 23rd Heroes of Thylia making its return as the Oracle's Chosen encounter some truly unfortunate hoplites of Mitros found, it seems, dead on the side of the road, being picked at by large, eagle-headed, lion-bodied monstrosities. A foul creation of Lutheria, but one that is more animalistic in nature, not truly evil, but still a threat nonetheless. Why were these hoplites out here? What is going on in Mitros? And what answers will Vulcan have when it comes to the Mithril Forges, its true purpose, how it can aid them? These questions and more should hopefully be answered this Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern for Heroes of Thylea. You will not want to miss it, so be sure to tune in for that. But then this upcoming Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, the next week, we are off all the way across the board. So enjoy yourself. Feel free to catch up on VODs for the other shows if you're behind, and continue to express your wonderful support. And feel free to join the Discord and converse about our games, your games, any games that you're looking forward to, TTRPG projects, Kickstarters, what have you. Share your dice. I'm sure Mel would be happy to see your pretty dice, your pretty math clack rocks.
Yes, I demand pretty click clack math rocks, please.
Demands tribute.
Send us dice picks. Dice picks. And
Yep.
Oh, dice.
yeah, dice.
Damn, already hit
dice
send.
picks. Ooh, ouch, yikes. God, I don't think my phone. Let's see here. Other than that, we do also want to give a big shout out to Bulky Shoes for following, James Corp for the host for the raid, Code and Mage for following, and Phila Zinby for following as well. And we want to give a shout out to a friend of the stream, a wonderful channel. Where'd you guys go? I wanted to deliver a special message. Ah, yes, from our wonderful friends over at Fable Forge RPG. They are currently running a 24-hour Extra Life charity stream starting this Friday at 8 p.m. Central. You can see my wonderful friend Joseph's take on Odyssey of the Dragon Lords there, and going from there into Lost Mines of Phandelver in a single night. It'll be crazy. They'll be donating whatever they raise towards that to help make sure that every child gets the medical care they need. So be sure to check out Fable Forge RPG this Friday at 8 p.m. Central. I want to give a big shout out to them. Other than that, I want to thank you one last time so much for watching. We're going to go find someone playing some more D&D, give them some love, and leave you with our parting words as always. May your dice roll 20s, and you always make your saves.
Later, y'all.
Toodles.
Bye.
Wash your hands, it's not over.
Don't touch your
Wear a
face.
mask.